Well, first of all, we had a group of kids that was on the team the past couple of years, but weren't actually the ones out there playing. So this was a learning curve for everyone. You know, lost to coach by 3, lost to coach by 7, lost to Tuskegee by 6, and lost 2 other games by 7 points. So we are very encouraged. So those same kids gonna be back in addition of our transfers that we have. So I'm not worried.
Defensively, how much improved do you think your defense will be from last year?
Very. We upgraded a lot.
You upgraded a lot. Offensively, you did have a lot of interceptions. How do you curtail that? How do you make sure that you don't put all of the pressure on your all-star running back?
Well, first of all, our starting quarterback didn't get into school 10 days before the first game and still threw for 300 yards. So we didn't have the continuity down at the beginning of the season. So in the middle of the season, you know, we lost the game by 6 points on a call down in Tuskegee. You know, that's very questionable. You know, still to the day, rough. You know, so
You still sending tapes in?
Yeah. I can't let it go. But no, we made some adjustments. We brought some guys in that's going to help us skill-wise outside. And then we do have some more guys on defense that can rush the pass.
When you look at your home field, a lot of people don't like to come up the lane.
Come get some dirt on the paint.
What makes your place such a difficult place to play?
Well, it's psychological in football. If you don't want to be there and you'll perform, you got to want to be at Lane to be at Lane. And our kids want to be at Lane. We represent the city of Jackson very well at Lane College.
And what will it take for your team to turn it around and be in the competition for the championship game?
Finish in the 4th quarter.
All right, Coach, thank you. Mr. Huggins, first of all, I just need to know, was last year's team the smartest team you've ever had, since you had 3 guys that were magna cum laude when they graduated?
Well, that's one thing I don't play about. I mean, being as a family educators, my mom and dad are teachers, they always instilled in me early, like education is key. You can ask these guys about behind me that I don't play about that. If they're not doing what you're supposed to do in the classroom, I'll pull you off the field. It's just no ifs and buts about it. I feel like in this day and age, that's something that's lost. I feel like we forget about that's the most important thing to these guys, because football has an expiration date, whether we believe it or not, it's going to come for all of them. And so when that day comes, they always have to have something to fall back on. So I instill it and I appreciate it to our guys that we're going to do it on the field, but we also got to be leaders, and we got to be leaders in our community off the field. So that's just a testament to these guys just buying into what I preach, and they see benefits of it. I help them get paid internships, I help them do anything within their field, off the field and on the field as well. So that's just important for me.
You started off the year on fire, things sort of waned at a while, and you were able to get some victories. What did you learn about your team and about yourself after your first season at Kentucky State?
The first thing I learned, like, this is a really, really good conference. I mean, you just think about it. I mean, I played Coach Brown, Los Angeles beat them by 7, but then Coach Porter, they beat us by 6. Every team in this conference, each and every week, you got to come with your hard hat on. And so our guys kind of, got to learn from the learning experience, and we as well, myself as well, is just understanding that each and every week, we have to come out and play with our A game. If we don't play in our A game, then we lose games like Coach Brown said. We lost 2 games by 3. Coach Keaton, me and him talk about it all the time. I was up on him by 30. They got us in the 4th. So at the end of the day, you can't rest. You can't sit by your wayside and think you got the game accomplished. You got to play for 4 quarters. Like I tell our guys, we don't play for 4. We don't train for 4. We play for 5. So when we get to the 5th quarter, we're not tired.
You talk about education. You went on your own self-education journey by going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers National Coaching Academy. You and also your defensive coordinator, am I correct?
Yes.
And how was that experience for you?
Oh man, it was life-changing. I've talked to a lot of coaches that asked me about it, and it's something that I think we all should do. I think it's something in our profession that if we look at it right now, I talk to Coach Keaton about it all the time. There's not a lot of us is in this position. And so we're able to have an opportunity to go and work with the coach of Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we got their Coach Bowles, who's also a guy that I always knew. I went to this camp when he worked with Doug at Grambling when I was a young kid, so that was just a relationship with himself. But being able to be there as a young black head coach, I was the only head coach there, and my defensive coordinator, just being able to tell those experiences and share that with my guys, and I just came back reinvigorated about the things I learned. And you kind of got to see how a Super Bowl championship winning team prepares. And just being there in that whole atmosphere from the top down to the bottom, that's something that we all aspire to in this conference and at our schools, to be able to do those things, because that's how you win championships.
When you look at your team schematically and statistically, third down conversions was something that you had to improve on, also the touchdown to interception ratio. What have you done in the spring and in the summer to get yourself prepared to make that in a more positive way?
Just a year of growth and just instilling the things that's most important for us. On third down, we got to stay on the field. It helps our defense out, it helps our offense out. As long as we're able to score points, it takes the pressure off our defense. And then also, just from a scoring standpoint, Denham Johnson coming back, he's a year older. He's probably one of the most explosive quarterbacks in this conference. A kid coming out of Texas, and he's a slight man, he's only under 60 pounds. He's probably the fastest kid in the nation. And so, when he gets light, he can't touch it. So just instilling him, just hey, take the gifts when they give them to you, take the ball and just leave his team. So I got these guys behind me, they're going to help instill it in our team.
All right, thank you so much, Coach Brown and Coach Porter and Coach Huggins and the players. Thank you so very much. All right, coming up next, we have two, those fraternity people say neophytes. We have head coach Teddy Keaton, who's in a new place, and we have head coach Terrence Mathis, who is the head Maroon Tiger. Can they come up and bring their players? Now, contractually, you guys cannot sit next to each other. Since you are rivals, even though you guys are new to the fight. No comment. There you go. First of all, we're going to talk with Coach Mathis. Coach, first of all, I hear that retirement for an NFL player can be pretty good. What caused you to come out of retirement, and what attracted you to this job with the Maroon Tigers?
Well, you always have a passion for the game. There's always something that, this energy that you have, and you're always trying to find something to replace what you've done for a long time. And, a lot of guys say, well, retirement is good, they lie to you. They're trying to find something to fill the void of something that you've done for a long time. Coming to Morehouse, where I grew up 25 minutes away from here. I played down the street from here. And have an opportunity to play at a place like Morehouse, one of the prestigious HBCUs in the world, was a blessing. And, we just try to, keep that standard going. And I'm very grateful for my AD Ellis, hiring me, is Dr. Thomas, the president over there. And it's been great. We've changed the atmosphere a little bit since we've been here.
Could you introduce the players that you brought with you?
I don't know them guys. I ain't been here long enough. Junior defensive back Tyler Davis. Junior quarterback Kamar Carlisle.
Okay. A lot of people want to know, what is your philosophy when you play with a lot of high-octane offenses that can outscore people. You're an offensive guy. What will be your defensive philosophy? And when you got to Morehouse, how much did you have to change the culture?
Defensively, we want to be opportunists. And we want to play fast, play hard, take chances, be physical. The reason Coach Copeland is our defensive coordinator, I told him, just call play, make plays. Don't worry about mistakes, don't worry about giving up a big play, take chances whatsoever. And I told him that because that's what we're going to do offensively. So you better have my back. I'm going to have your back, you have my back. So, yeah, offensively, it's a combination of everything. I played in so many different offensive schemes, and we're going to implement all that in what we do. I was in the run and shoot. I was in pro staff. I was in that 21 personnel with Dan Reeves, and I've been in a lot of different types of schemes where we try to mash them all together, where we call it mud offense. So it's been fun so far. It's amazing how smart these young men are. And the last time, 3 weeks we had for spring football, that they got all of this and performed with.
When you look at your team as far as initial signs that you're headed in the right direction outside of wins, what will be the indicator to you on the field that your team is moving in the right direction?
Well, when I first got there and we started our winter workouts, we had great participation. And they were hungry. You could see it in their eyes. They were hungry. They were hungry. And you know, you hear, well, Morehouse don't have any talent whatsoever, this and that. And my philosophy is this: when the coach comes up to me and says a player can't play, I say you keep coaching. Because that means you're not even giving this young man a chance to develop, because you're not giving him the attention that he needs to be successful. And that's what we did the first day. We gave him attention. I was out there running the drill, doing the stretch, whatsoever. I am all in with it. And young team. And so they were very hungry, and we gathered together, and what we did was we looked at our roster and said, this is a young team. We need to go implement some old bodies and some old minds in here. So we went in the transfer portal, junior college ranks, and we did a really good job. And what we wanted to do is we looked at all the teams in the conference and looked at position by position, and we tried to match it up. Can we match up with these guys? And most of the time we said no. So we said, let's go out there and get guys just as good as they are in our conference, or better. And that's how, that was our philosophy coming in.
Okay. Are you going to be nervous that first game?
You're always nervous. I don't care what level you play at. I don't care what game you play at. You know, I played 13 years, and from the first game to the last, I still was nervous. So for this one, I'm going to be completely nervous. You know, first head coaching job on the collegiate level, it's going to be special. I know some of the guys in here. I'm getting to know some of the guys in here. They're looking at me like I'm a fresh lamb. So yeah, I'm nervous when I walk in the room with these guys. But yeah, I'm gonna be nervous.
All right, Coach, stay right there. Coach Key. Coach Key. Some people would say you left in the middle of the night. But you did leave, and you arrived in Atlanta. Now, most folks arrive in Atlanta to relieve some stress. You came to Atlanta to take on some stress. What caused you to leave Allen and arrive at Clark Atlanta?
Nothing really caused me to leave Allen. Allen was good to me. I'm so grateful for the opportunities that I had. I coached some great young men there. Some of them came with me, some of them decided to stay. I'll forever be grateful because I started it from the ground up, so it's got a dear place in my heart. I like challenges. And sometimes when the challenge, comes, I want to take on a new challenge. So I think the mission had been accomplished at Allen, other than we didn't win the championship. I appreciate the young men that gave everything to me, the president, Dr. McNeely, Aidi, Josh Cox. I was very appreciative of the opportunity, but it was a challenge in Atlanta. It's a huge challenge, and I want to attack it.
Could you introduce the players that you brought with you today?
I have Cameron Ivey, defensive back, senior, and I have David Wright, redshirt junior, quarterback.
Redshirt junior quarterback and unstoppable.
I wouldn't say he's unstoppable, and we're not going to gas him up like that.
First of all, a lot of people and all the coaches that are here, when I talk to them on the phone, they all say, we know what Ted is going to do, we know his offense, but it's very few of the ones that's in this audience that says they stop your offense. What makes your relationship with your quarterbacks and your offense so special?
It's just picking the right person. That's a very difficult task. A lot of people understand that, the position is something you got to really, really have a conversation with a guy about. It's not necessarily about his skill set. You got to know what his mindset is, how he operates, and can he make the throws. That's important to me. David was a guy who only played quarterback 1 year in high school. He was a wide receiver. People wouldn't believe that, but he was. When he got there and I saw him on tape, I looked at him, nobody was recruiting. I saw it, I said, he make all the intermediate throws. He's on time with them. He spins the ball very well. Sometimes he's Brett Favre to me. If you had to describe him and put him in one spot, he'll make a play. Sometimes he'll throw you in a game. Sometimes he'll throw you out of the game. But we worked on that this offseason and trying to get him to the point where he understands to make good decisions and understand that anything that happened in the past, regardless of what it is, Carl Sandburg wrote that the past is a bucket of ashes. Rid yourself of anything that happened in the past. We treat every day as it has a life and history of its own. That's every season, everything we approach. So we try to rid ourselves of what happened last year.
Have you changed anything from Allen to Clark Atlanta, or do you plan on bringing your same philosophy and approach over to the Panthers?
I think you have to grow and adjust every year. Every team has there's no certain team. I don't care where they came from. That's why I say you have to rid yourself from anything from last year. What happened at Allen happened at Allen. What's going to happen at Clark is going to happen at Clark. So we have to adjust to what Clark has, figure out the pieces that's what we've been doing all season, trying to figure out what they have and what they don't have and try to fill in the gap. And, I'm not going to throw the ball if I didn't have a quarterback that could throw it. I want to improve in my running game. I want to improve on defense. I want to get more all-conference linemen. And there's a lot of things that I want to do. And we have had some tweaks to the offense, that I saw that probably could have helped us win some more games if we were able to slow the ball down sometime and do some things differently. And more so, I try to work on myself and look at myself and what can I do differently to help my young men grow and do the things that they need to do to give them a chance to be successful on the field.
One last question. When you look at your team statistically, outside of wins, which a win will be great for your program, what indication will you need to see in order to see progress from this team?
I mean, we got to improve in every statistical category there is. We finished like 133 in the nation in offense, 130-something in defense, only 161 teams. So how far to the bottom do you want to go? We just got to figure out how we're going to dig ourselves out of that hole. When I see myself now, I'm an 0-10 coach. So we're going to have that approach that we 0-10, and we're going to work every day like we 0-10, and we're going to try to become a winner.
All right, Coach, and at the end of the season, Clark Atlanta and Morehouse will do battle for the AUC. We won't have the stare down just yet. We'll wait till later in November, okay? All right.
Stare downs.
Okay.
I'm only concentrating on the first game this game.
All right. Thank you, coaches, and thank you, players. All right, next up, we go down toward the coast at Waters University and Savannah State. Head Coach Toriano Morgan and Head Coach Aaron Kelton and their players. All right, Coach Kelton, could you introduce the players that you have with you?
Yes, I have running back Joe Hampton from Augusta, Georgia. I have wide receiver Deshaun Mitchell from South Carolina, and I have a defensive lineman Tony Roundtree, also from Augusta, Georgia.
All right, Coach, last year was a little bit below expectations for the Tigers, but from what I was reading from your media guide, you want to tell them that you're rising. What is that philosophy like, and what will be the indication that your team is rising?
Well, last year was way below the standard that we have in our program, and we believe that getting off to a fast start, as well as being able to compete, as Coach Brown said, finishing in the fourth quarter. We had a number of games that just came down to last possession, especially against these guys. The last 2 years we've gone to the last possession with them, and a couple other games as well. And it's about us finishing. So that's going to tell us how we're rising. Are we finishing games? Are we finishing drives? Are we protecting the football and making sure that we are able to maintain that consistency throughout each and every game.
When you look at your team this season, you have a lot of guys who are preseason all-conference. How do you not let them get the big head, or have the losses from last season provided the hunger that they need in order to stay focused?
Yeah, they're extremely hungry. We're fortunate that people felt like we had some good players, and we think we do. But we're going to just continue to work. We keep our head down, and we're going one game at a time, one snap at a time. In this game, everybody's competitive in this league. And so in this game, we just have to focus on what we do. that's our important fact that we're always going to take with us. Is what is it that we do to determine our outcome? Okay, and if we're working hard at it every day and getting the most out of everyone, then we can walk with our head held high, knowing that we gave all the effort that we could.
Offensively, I know you're looking to improve in your total offensive numbers. What did you do in the spring, and what have you done in the summer in order to improve that?
Well, we tweaked a few things, and we think that we've gotten stronger in terms of in our running game, which we needed to. Improvement on the offensive line, and then definitely on the edges in terms of at receiver, we think that that group is really coming along, and we'll fix some things philosophically that we've been working on all summer, and then it's just confidence, right? I think that if we're able to give our guys confidence to make plays and put them in positions to be able to make plays, and make teams have to defend the entire field, we should be okay.
All right. Coach, morning. They call you Mr. 180. You pulled off the 180, but now you have new expectations. How do you feel about handling those expectations, not only for yourself, but for your players?
Well, I don't think that from the standpoint of our goal and our mission has ever changed. Once we came in the doors and we walked in the doors the first day, we walked in the doors to eventually be champions. So I believe that we're steady on that path right now. We've had some really close games. Blessed to coach a group of guys to be able to watch them from a standpoint of learning how to win. Now I can honestly say this group expects to win. So that's the approach that we take. That's the standard that we've set. And we're just not going to negotiate it. We're just going to stay the path and continue to do what we need to do to get the results that we set out to expect to get.
This fall, do you think you may have the most talented group of guys that you have? Because there are a number of guys who have all conference honors.
I do believe on paper, over the last 3 seasons, that this may be the most talented group from top to bottom. We got these guys again, and we played them early. So, they've gone through the growing pains. They've lost on the last play of the game. They won on the last play of the game. They've been blown out. They've blown some people out. So they've kind of experienced it all. So now this is the point to where now we think we have this group right at the point to where it's time to make that run.
I hear somebody's Tiger phone call thing that sounded off. Could you introduce the players that you have behind you?
Absolutely. To my left here, we have wide receiver all conference from Pahokee, Florida, Mr. Johnny Jones. And to my right here, we have all conference offensive lineman, a 3-year starter from us, been starting for us from day one, from Jacksonville, Florida, Mr. Dylan Lampkin.
When you look at what you accomplished last year, some people would say that you won by means of location. Because I made my first trip to Jacksonville to your stadium, and it's sort of a hidden gem. Because you're driving, you're like, where is the stadium? And then you go basically behind a school that looks like it's not even open, and then voila, you're there. It's hot. You like playing in the daytime where it's like you're sitting in a frying pan. How much has that environment helped your team basically have a 12th man on the field?
It's the city of Jacksonville, firstly, and the fan base, the alumni, the student body, administration has all been great as far as putting together an electric the atmosphere. So being able to have that, and then not to mention a pretty darn good football team comes out to play at that same time too. It's made Saturday evenings really electric evenings.
The sun was still out, and I think
that's the beauty of Duval. That's the climate, that's the weather, and we use it to our advantage.
This year, a lot of people have your team circled, have to beat them. How do you think that your team will handle that level of pressure?
We have a saying that we always say there is no pressure when you are the pressure. So the fact that we're circled on their schedule means nothing to us. I mean, we know that the first couple of weeks of camp, it's about us. Making sure that we put together a good product, we develop the product, we stay on schedule, understanding what our identity are, and identifying the things that we do well to do more of. as we get into the season, the next one is the most important one. So we can't beat ourselves Monday through Friday, and then on Saturday we got to execute to beat our opponent. So that's our blueprint. If we're circled on somebody's schedule, the schedule's not going to change, and we're going to show up and we're going to play.
All right. Thank you so very much, Coach Morgan and Coach Kelly. Pleasure.
Thank you.
Next, we go to the great state of South Carolina for Allen University, Cedric Pearl, and for Benedict College, head coach Ron Dickerson, Jr. And bring your players up. All right, Coach Pearl, could you introduce the players that you brought with you today?
Good morning. I have two seniors with me this morning. Bo Harrington from Miami, Florida, senior running back, and senior defensive back, Sherrod Simmons, also from Miami. But Bo, I think it was
Davenport, Florida. All right. Coach, first of all, what attracted you to the job at Allen? And when you got there, how bare was the cupboard or how full was the cupboard?
Well, I think it was an opportunity to be a head coach again. It was very exciting. Allen coming off a 7-3 season was attracted to. But in today's game, with the transfer portal, there were about 20 plus guys that had left, but that's just a part of college football down the landscape. So the first thing you have to do is start trying to retain much of the roster as you can, and then go out and rebuild your roster. So that's what we've been doing all this semester, rebuilding the roster to get ready for this upcoming season.
A lot of people want to know what is your coaching philosophy and what can we expect to see offensively and defensively from the Yellow Jackets?
Well, defensively, we're gonna be sound, and offensively as well. We're gonna run the football. I think everybody here knows it. That knows me. There's no secrets defensively. Just like Coach said, we're gonna take chances. We're gonna be very multiple and do whatever we need to do to stop the opposing offense.
When you looked at the facilities and the mindset at Allen University, were you pleased with what you saw from the administration as far as their commitment to the sport?
Yes, speaking with A.D. Cox and President McNeely, I was excited about their vision for the program going forward. We have some things that are coming on board down the line, and we're really excited about it. So, yeah.
When you look at your schedule, you look at this conference, how competitive is it? And I already see you have your championship ring there from Tuskegee. Do you let your players know that a championship is a possibility?
Yes, our goal for all of our players, we have two goals that we talk to them about with the parents coming in. First is graduate. Number two is winning the championship. That's the goal of any player, any country, no matter what level. You want to go out and champion. I had an opportunity at Tuskegee when I was a player to win a couple of championships. So, and we're coaching at Alabama A&M, being a part of the first SWAC championship to come there. So it's very exciting to see that joy on the administration and the kids' face too when they hold that championship trophy up and receive that championship ring. So it's all about that, but it's a process that we look forward to working to get there.
Statistically, when you look at your team, what will be an indicator that you know your team is headed in the right direction?
Winning. I think that's the number one goal. That's the only statistic that really matters. Whether you, like Coach said earlier, whether you throw it for 400 or run it for 400, the bottom line, when the game's over, you have to have more than your opponent. So I think winning probably be the most important.
All right. Coach Dickerson, welcome to the SIAC.
Thank you.
First of all, could you introduce the players that you have with you?
Yes, I have Keenan Durant, running back, and also Nolan Jones, defensive back.
Did you have any reservations about applying and taking the job at Benedict, knowing what had happened the previous 2 years?
Not at all. I thought it was a great opportunity. I sat in the staff room in West Florida for 3 years, and we watched. We figured out how we could beat Benedict. There was a lot of other coaches that talked about they shouldn't even be in the same room, and that really ticked me off. And so when I had the opportunity to take the job, I scheduled West Florida, and because this is a great conference, there's some great coaches in here,
And the thing about it is respect. And I don't think this conference got a lot of respect when I was on the GSC side, and now on this side, again, great coaches, great commissioner, and never thought twice about taking this job.
When you look at the facilities and the commitment to the sport at Benedict College, was it comforting when you took the job to know that you had a lot of things that were already in place?
Yes, Coach Washington, Dr. Artis did a great job, the previous presidents, the alumni, previous team, they did a great job of building up Benedict College. And I mean, to be one of the premier facilities in HBCUs that I think, you know, and I've been to quite a few of them. And so it was a great selling point. It's a great selling point for young men when we recruit them, is that these are the things that you will be able to write down and tell your children that you went to Benedict, and this was the opportunity to play in this facility. This was the opportunity to graduate from Benedict College.
What is your coaching philosophy, and what can we expect to see offensively and defensively from your teams this fall?
Have fun. You know, our standard is to expect to win. And you know, when I say that, again, I'm about culture. I'm about developing young men. Football's football. The reason why they're here, the reason why we're here, is because every one of these young men can play football. But if they can't win in life, and I mean that's by waking up in the morning and being the best toothbrusher you can be, being the best person that you can wash your face, then there's no purpose in living life. Too many of us get up out of bed and go, God, I gotta do something. Well, you already set the tone. I wake up and I say, God, thank you for waking me up. Let's go. And that is my philosophy with my young men. They don't have to be anybody else except for themselves. And they have to be the greatest themselves that they can be. And we'll win.
When you look at your team, I know you had some guys that transferred, went to other places. How many were you able to retain, and how many new faces will we see coming up this fall?
Coach jinxed me. But we had a meeting before. He was already gone, Coach. I thought you were talking about Aaron Miller, and but he was gone. So we had a meeting back in Atlanta before Coach was talking about who were transferred and all this other stuff. And then when I got back, Coach, I still lost 3 after that. You know that. So when I got to Benedict, I think a total of 48 young men had transferred. Yeah. I went through spring with 40 guys. And a lot of them were injured. So we were probably about 35-ish. As I said, 3 transferred after the spring, which is, you don't want to be there, that's fine. I'm happy for you. It's the world we live in now, the transfer portal. But I was able to hire some great coaches. I was able to hire and retain some great men that helped us recruit. And I think we've done a great job of that. But spring was interesting. We didn't have a spring game. We had a spring jamboree, as I call it, because we really didn't have enough bodies to go through it. But I'm excited where we finished. The leadership of these 2 young men helped the program stay where it needs to be, and I'm excited about it.
Outside of wins, I know Coach Pearl, he's a Tuskegee guy, so everything is very bottom line, so win or nothing else. But what statistic can we look from your team that will give you the indication that you guys are headed in the right direction? Outside of wins, since Pearl has just blown it up.
You know, as I say, culture. I think the way we do things. I think going into fall camp, if we can come together, you know, and really, because again, this transfer portal, everybody in this room is having to raise a group of young men that come from everywhere. And so the only way that myself and a lot of these coaches in this room is about culture. And that's the one thing that we are going to strive on is culture. You know, our motto is vision. If you do not have a vision, you will not go nowhere. As the Bible verse says, without a vision, the people will perish. And so I think if the Benedict Tigers can have the same vision, we'll be very successful.
Thank you so very much. Even though both of you guys are new coaches, I think we're supposed to do a stare down since you're right across the street, but we'll wait. We'll hold off for that for later. All right. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Now we move on to what some would say are the bluer bloods of our conference. And at this time, we'll have Tuskegee and Miles. Tuskegee University and Miles College. Head coach Aaron James and Sam Shea. And see, Coach, you're not new anymore. He's a new guy, so we're gonna let him go first. He's a new guy. So Coach James, you get an opportunity to coach at your alma mater. Your previous head coach hands you the keys, but then you're the head guy. What did you learn that he didn't tell you about being a head coach this season?
All the extra stuff that comes along with it. That's it, all the extra stuff. He's been, A.D. Ruffin been a good coach and a good friend of mine. So been knowing Jordan for a long time, and just having the opportunity to come in and just lead my program. It was a good opportunity.
Could you introduce the young men that you brought with you today?
Yes, I have my offensive lineman, Sean Stinton from Birmingham, Alabama, and Michael King, defensive player of the year last year, defensive back from Tuskegee, Alabama.
Defense has always been the calling card for Tuskegee. Offense has been something that at times has been dynamic, but at times just enough to give it back to the defense to shut it down. This season, what can we expect to see from your offense that you feel will put you over the top?
I think we just coming in, I have an offensive coordinator, Harry Williams, teammate of mine back in the day, so it's going to be an explosive offense. We're looking to put up some points and just create some mismatches and just win some ball games.
Defensively, I know you have a young man that's very talented. Tuskegee has a long line of talented defensive players. Do you leave it up to him to lead that defense, or are there some hidden gems that are out there that a lot of people are not expecting to play the way that you expect them to play this fall?
Well, defensively and offensively, it's a team effort. It's just no one guy that's going to make a defense. So we're going to have 11 guys on the field that's going to take control of what we need to do and just rally around the ball and create turnovers.
I hear that you are somewhat envious of your own players because now they have a jumbotron, they've got turf, see the AD looking at me like, keep going.
Yeah.
Renovations to the locker room. Some of the old school, and I know Coach Pearl may say, where's Coach Pearl? Has it made them soft? Because Tuskegee normally is tough as nails.
No, it hasn't made them soft. I preach it every day, just coming in. Coach A.D. Ruffin came in with a vision, and like you said, new turf, new facilities, jumbotron. Now we got lights coming in, so I appreciate that, A.D. Ruffin, for that, to play under the lights. So, it's a long time coming. And I tell these guys, they just make sure we don't tear nothing up, say nothing up, so, and just be blessed for the opportunity.
When you look at last season, as usual, all the way up to the last game, you were competitive and had an opportunity to make it to the championship game. When you go back and dissect what happened, were the failures just in one game, or when you look back at it, was it a cascading effect that caused you to not make it to the championship game?
No, we started off 4-0, on the run, and we had a couple of injuries. But like I always say, the next man up. And last year we played 4 quarterbacks, which was, insane. But this year we're gonna make sure that we make sure that injuries, like I said, really took us under the weather. But we're gonna make sure that everything is rolling on both sides of the ball, special teams as well. So I'm excited for what we got coming in, and I'm just ready to roll.
All right, Coach Shea.
Yes, sir.
Could you introduce the players that you have with you today?
Okay, I sure will. We've got junior tight end, all conference, Trevonta Abner from Lynette, Alabama. We also have our senior wide receiver, all conference, graduated in May, Jay Andrews. And Jay is actually a legacy player from Birmingham, Alabama. His father and mother are Miles graduates. His older brothers are Miles graduate, and father and older brother both played football at Miles College. So, and a couple of coaches talked about the transfer portal. One thing about really both of these guys could have, left in the portal. just like a lot of the kids in this room, and I applaud these guys for staying. And it says a lot about Miles College.
Your team, after a learning curve, I would call it, you guys made a lot of improvements, but you were still just a step away from the championship game. When you look back and dissect it, what was the missing piece in order for you to make it to that championship game?
Well, you know, obviously coming off of 1-9, I've got to give my assistant coaches, my coaching staff did a great job after that first season going out and recruiting high school players and transfer players, just like Javante Apple came in at the tight end position and, you know, was a starter right off the bat. So, you know, guys like Edwin Clyde Peter, who was our quarterback last year, he transferred to us last summer. So we got transfers that fill some holes that are really going to help us, but we're still a school we're going to recruit high school kids. We signed 21 high school kids. We're still in the business of developing young student athletes each and every year. But, you know, like everybody else in the room, we've got to take some transfers at times to fill some roles where we're young and inexperienced.
When you look at your plot this year towards a championship, what will it take for you to see your team is on the right direction?
Well, you know, looking at last year, actually, we started off pretty strong. We went down to Alabama State and had the first Division I victory by Miles College, which was huge for us, but we had a lot of bumps and bruises in that game. We came out of that game, we lost our starting running back for the season. Our quarterback was banged up a little bit, so you know, one of the biggest things for us is to try to stay healthy. And you know, that's what we're really trying to do, is stay healthy. And I talk to my staff about, we're always trying to improve it, always trying to make it better. Basically, we're trying to bring all our guys along. So the high school kids that come in, if they're not ready to play, let's try to get them ready to play at some point in the season.
Okay. When you look at your schedule, did you try to schedule a way so that you can, even though you don't get a week off, but you got some time to prepare for that gauntlet that comes at the end?
Well, the one thing we did, and Commissioner Holloman talked about it, obviously, you know, fighting for the week 0 was big for us because, you know, we were able to move the West Alabama game to week 0. That gives us a bye week after the Alabama State game, which the past 2 years we've come out of that game really banged up. So, you know, excited about having that bye week, which we hadn't had.
Okay. When you look at your players, you've got some legacy guys there, you've got some new guys coming in. You've created or recreated a culture of championship level football. How much do you lean on your players to teach those younger guys what will it take to play Miles College football?
Well, that's huge. We've implemented a leadership program. We've got someone that comes from the outside and all season, every Friday. These guys are part of it that, you know, talk about leadership and what it looks like. And part of it is a spiritual aspect. And, you know, obviously some of it is just, you know, what you're doing each and every day on and off the field.
When you look at today, you talk about recruiting. A lot of our coaches have talked about recruiting. How much has it changed now with the transfer portal, with NIL? Are you trying to rebuild some guy's psyche? Because signing day now is a totally different thing. They may not get a call from you until maybe April, sometimes even May.
Well, you know, obviously this is a different day and time, but, you know, like some of the coaches said, there are a lot of good high school kids out there. I've coached on the FCS level, the FBS level as an assistant coach, and there's some high school kids that I know we would have signed on the FCS level, the FBS level, that are being signed in our conference. And so, you know, like the other guys have said, we've got 13 teams where, you know, it's every week you're going to have a dogfight in this conference, pretty much every week, you know, because there's a lot of talent and great coaches.
All right. Thank you so very much, coaches. Good luck to you. And I know in November it's going to be real interesting.
Well, I'm not even thinking about that right now. Just see Smith on my mind.
All right. Thank you so very much.
Right.
Now it's time to our final 2 teams. Coming up is 2 coaches that literally, they did not fight on the field. But I saw so much emotion out of one game that I had to take a break. Because in, I think about 5 minutes, one team went from complete disaster to elation, One team went from complete elation to disaster. So coming up now, Albany State University and Fort Valley State head coach Quentin Gray Sr. and head coach Sean Gibbs along with their players. So Coach Gibbs, and I've got to say this because a lot of people most likely were watching the ESPN broadcast that we did. Most of the time when you're a little kid and somebody pushes you back in the day, don't do this today, young people. You say, you're going to fight until they cry. You made him cry and you lost. How does that happen?
I don't know if I can answer that.
Coach, going back to the Fountain City Classic, I know you've been a part of a lot of different games. Have you ever experienced anything like that?
Well, last year was a year where we experienced a couple of games like that. Starting off with Tuskegee, the first game of the year. We ended up losing that one on the last play of the game, and then to get to the Fountain City Classic and to come up short. So it was a couple of emotional games that we played last year. So, that just lets me know that I got to do a better job of getting our guys to finish games. Because we were in them, we just didn't finish them.
You did have a positive at the end. You went to a bowl game, the initial bowl game in South Florida. You win, you beat Johnson C. Smith. How much was that a catapult into this season?
Oh, that was a great experience. It was like an opportunity to have another spring ball. So we got a chance to practice and get ready for those guys, and then go down to Fort Lauderdale and beat up on Johnson C. Smith. CIAA is our little brother, so that was a great opportunity.
Could you introduce the players that you brought with you today?
Absolutely. I got a grad senior, Brandon Marshall from Jacksonville, Florida, redshirt junior, linebacker Malik Hart. He's from Ocoee, Florida, but he claims Orlando.
Okay. When you look at your squad and you dissect everything that happened, you had a lot of good things that happened last year. But when you look at the things that did not work out well for you, what is it that you have to change this season in order to have a better outcome?
Well, I think it starts with me. I got to do a better job of getting our team prepared to play each and every week. And then from there, honestly, we got to have better play at the quarterback position as far as decision making, and especially in crucial situations. We got to do a better job at that. I think we made some improvements defensively last year, and I think that we'll be even better this year. My main concern, or the thing that we have to really focus on this year, is our offensive line. We have a veteran quarterback that's a 3-year starter. We got an all-conference running back. We got a receiver who I think is one of the best in the league. We got a tight end room that I think people will be surprised with, but we got to perform up front. So if we can get a better job out of me, better decision making from our quarterback position, and if we can play solid up front, I think we'll be okay.
When you look at your schedule, you really don't have any slouches in your schedule. How do you try to plot your course in order to have your team at 100% once you get to the Fountain City Classic and beyond?
Well, like everybody else, our main concern is August 31st versus Clark. But we got to take it day by day. We know we have a tough schedule. Non-conference, we play Delta State and South Carolina State. And then you got to deal with all these guys within the conference. So it's going to be a tough road. We know we got a tough road ahead of us, but all we can do is take it day by day and try to improve and become the best version of ourselves.
How much easier or how more difficult has it been since you have had a certain level of success that has sustained since your tenure started at Fort Valley State?
Well, Fort Valley State has a standard, and so do I. And quite frankly, we haven't met the standard since I've been there. I know winning 8 games 2 years in a row is nothing to be ashamed of, but Fort Valley State is a championship program. And until we can get to that level consistently, then we're not meeting the standard. So we're working each and every day to try to get there.
All right. Coach Gray, you showed some emotion in that Fountain City Classic that, as you told me when we talked on the phone, you rarely show emotion because you always focus on the next thing at hand. How much has that emotion exited to your players, and how much of that emotion will galvanize your team as you plot to walk away with this year's title?
Well, for us, it's always about the next play, the next game. You know what I mean? So for me, there is no embarrassment about being emotional because we want our players to be able to open up and be who they are. And when it comes down to it with these kids these days, you want to make sure that you have a relationship with them and you're in a situation where everything is what it is. So these kids go through so much each and every day that we don't necessarily have are privy to. So you want them to be able to open up to you and be vulnerable in those situations where in some aspects of life, as men, we probably wouldn't be. So for me, it's all about making sure our kids understand that at the end of the day, you can be emotional, you can show what it is and who you are as a person in our program, and then when it's all said and done, we're a family. So what happens in-house stays.
When you look at the successes that you had last year, how much have you talked to your players about handling success and dealing with that level of success, since now the spotlight is more on you than ever before?
Well, to be honest with you, we expect success. You know what I mean? So we prepare ourselves to be successful in the way we work each and every day. So our kids, when it comes down to it, when we decide to do what we're supposed to do in terms of the work that we put in, we hope and we pray that the work that we do puts us in a position to be successful. So with that, when success comes, it's not something that's new to us. We try to make sure that we handle it in the right way. In the mindset of our kids, understanding that Albany State has been set before we even got there. So with that, our kids are prepared for it, and we just hope that we're able to continue to raise the ball.
Could you introduce the players that you brought with you today?
Redshirt sophomore from Atlanta, Georgia, Westlake High School, Abraham Kingsdale, defensive tackle, and redshirt sophomore quarterback transfer from Navy, Isaiah Knowles out of Tampa, Florida.
When you look at the season last year, when you look at trying to get over the hump and walk away with the title, what were the missing pieces or missing statistical things that you wanted to see that you didn't see, and how much did you work on that during the spring?
I think from a statistical standpoint, I think third downs on both offense and defensive side of the ball were things that we needed to work on in the aspect of situational football. We weren't as successful on third downs from an offensive standpoint, and we weren't as successful in getting off the field from a defensive standpoint. So those things were situations that we really focused on from a standpoint of spring ball. But at the end of the day, spring ball, we were able to just work on who we are and get better at what we did from offensive and defensive special teams.
Coming this fall, what new wrinkles can we expect to see? Is this going to be the same Albany State style that we saw last season, which was successful, or are you planning to do some things different to highlight some of the players that you have coming in, offensively or defensively, that you may have not seen that talent last year?
Well, the game of football is what it is. The game of football hasn't necessarily changed in 100 years since its inception. It's about the players. The better players you have, the better you're probably going to be. We can sit up here and talk about coaching and all that good stuff. As coaches, we're only good as our players. And when it comes down to it, as coaches, our job is to put our players in the best situations to be successful and get the ball in the hands of the guys that's going to put it in the end zone. So for us, we strategically just sit down as a coaching staff and think about the best ways of putting our players in the best situations and allowing them to go out and play the game that they love. So hopefully that'll lead to the success of our program.
What did you learn about yourself last season as a head coach that you think will make you better this year?
I think the biggest thing is, I've always been a person that tried to do things on my own. You know what I mean? So the biggest part that I've learned in terms of delegating and being able to make sure that you understand that everybody around you is there to help you. You know what I mean? So for me, the biggest part, the biggest learning part for me was understanding that everybody is there to help and allowing those people to help in ways that they're there to help. You know what I mean? So everybody there has a job to do and allow them to do their jobs.
All right. So once again, we don't need a stare-off till November, correct? Okay, we'll wait till November for that stare-off. We got all these stare-offs going on in SIAC. Thank you, coaches. Thank you, players.
Thank you.
That wraps up the panel aspect. And I want to thank all of our coaches and all of our players for making it here to the College Football Hall of Fame. We will have an opportunity for individual one-on-one interviews that will happen over the next about 30 or 40 minutes. And we want to make sure that everybody knows that the SIAC is where we want to be. Mr. McLeod.
That concludes the panel interviews. We'll now open the floor to media outlets. We'll start with Albany State and HBCU Go TV. You guys get up now.
Hey, Dennis. What are you doing? What are you doing? I think all you're doing.
Each school will start at HBCU Go and make a circle and come around so you'll be able to touch each media outlet.
Look, this is y'all. What's up? Y'all go ahead and put the headsets on.
I can hear you.
Mic check one, mic check one. Mic check one, mic check one.
Nah, you just loud. Give me that again.
Mic check one, mic check one.
You're loud.
Mic check one, mic check one. Mic check one, mic check.
He got you on about 12.
Testing. We're good?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You good. Yeah. Which right here. Good morning. Black College Sports Network Game Time Show. And we are here at SIAC Media Day live from College Hall of Fame. Joined by Charles Bishop, J.B. Walker, Dr. Cavill over there on the side, Roy Evans on the microphone. And we're going to start off with the thoroughbreds. Kentucky State. Media didn't think you guys go do so well, but I know you guys have different philosophy on that. First of all, Coach, introduce yourself and the two players that you got here with you.
100%. So I'm Coach Felton Huggins Jr., again from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Zachary to be born to be exact. I got two seniors here, both are graduates. Bobby Hayes from Chicago, Illinois, played defense end for us last year. He'll be playing tight end for us this year. And then I got Trayvon Pope from Atlanta, Georgia, right down the road at Banneker High School. He's a college graduate as well this past May. He'll be playing defensive back for him as well. Also might get a little receiver too.
Congratulations. So we're going to start off with the biggest transition. What has been the biggest difference in making the transition from defensive end to tight end? You probably played both when you were in high school, but at this level, what's been the biggest change to make that transition?
I actually didn't play both in high school.
Oh, wow.
I started both in college, but it hasn't been something too brand new to me. I played a little bit before, and I played a little bit of both last year too. But the biggest transition has been blocking. It's different. Trying to block somebody versus breaking down blocks. So that's probably been the biggest adjustment for me. But I think I've been doing pretty well. So.
Coach, let me ask you this question in terms of cracking into that upper echelon in the SIAC. You talked a little bit about some of your goals and whatnot on the panel, but when you kind of nail down, what it is to get this Kentucky State Thoroughbred program back into the mix of things. I remember when you guys knocked off Jackson State a few years ago. Yeah. But just getting back into the upper echelon, what is it going to take?
Well, first and foremost, man, I take it a step further, man. I mean, respect isn't given, it's earned. So for us, I woke up yesterday morning and I got the conference preseason conference rankings, and I seen I only got one guy on there. So for me, I feel like that's disrespect. But at the end of the day, respect isn't given, it's earned. You got to go out there and do it each and every Saturday, and that's one of the things I echoed out there on the stage was, our guys got to come ready to play, regardless of whatever's in front of us, regardless of whoever we play. We got to go and take care of business, and they're not going to give it to us in this conference. I see that now. So for us, it just gave us more fuel to the fire. But we just blessed to be able to come out there and play every day. But you're going to see a more engaged and just more focused team from this point on, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you come from, what you've been, what your background is, or who you know or who you are. You got to go out there and do it each and every day. And so we're going to go out there and do it on Saturday. And I got two guys right here that's going to help lead that charge. And so I'm excited just to go into the season this year and let everybody know, we're forced to be reckoned with. We're not going to take disrespect anymore.
Absolutely. Glad you all are here. Trevon, this is a question for you. First of all, welcome home. Call high school games around here. You're a Banneker Trojan, so I already know what it is. But talk about your experience at Kentucky State, because you have been really one of those trendsetters. You've been through the transition from one coach to another. How has that transition been?
Been struggle a little bit. I got to move. Keep God first. I was going to keep God first.
Much success to you and all you guys at Fort Valley. This is Sylvester Lee. It's a great experience. Excited to see SIAC football. That's my guy.
And I ask a quick follow-up question. Coach, you got your personnel. I know you're still implementing. I see the camps that you're doing all in Louisiana, trying to get players implemented into the system. After having a year to be what do you think this team can do to ascend to that next echelon? Because you did some good things last year.
Well, just knowing what I need and what I don't. Coming in last year, I got here late. So thought it was, I got here late, and that's a good thing. You got to see what you got to do, but also when you get in late, you kind of got the ball out there. You got to this back. Also, just with some experience that I've had from different places. I got a couple of kids coming to us. Now, just right. This is going to put us in the right frame, format, right standpoint. Also this piece about the career development thing we get today. I was always talking about coach, you ain't going. And so just understanding that each and every day I got to go in that profession, and I can't be the same way that I was last year. It's not about being a great person. It's about being a message. You guys,
all right. I know you got to keep going through the car wash, if you will. Speed date. But man, thank you for stopping by here on the Game Time Show. Looking forward to a great season at Kentucky State.
I want to thank
Kentucky State coach Phil Huggins and his players. Appreciate it. So we'll keep things rolling here with the Game Time Show. Coach, got 83 and we'll keep things rolling. We'll get another team to come in here.
Kentucky State's gonna be my sleep.
Kentucky State is your sleeper.
I'm gonna tell you why.
I was listening to them talk the other day about sleeper teams, and that name didn't come up. Go for it. All right. Those Gibbs. Well, welcome in. I tell you what, Coach Sean Gibbs bringing his team. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. First and foremost, introduce the guys that you brought here to the game.
We got Lee Carver, gets mad at it all the time. Playing for Orlando. Linebacker, all conference guy. And Brandon Marshall, grad player, all conference. Jacksonville football,
via Philly. Fort Valley State. Picked to finish second. One of the things I was listening to you guys talk up there, but what's it going to take this upcoming season? I know we have the championship pedigree, and this is the championship pedigree program. But in terms of breaking, South Bend did a couple seasons. They had the breaking season, and they were hunted. A lot of people are saying their target is over guys.
Yeah, well, we're not really worried about getting a target on our back because Fort Valley State is one of the blue bloods of the conference, so always going to have a target on our back, so that's nothing. For us to take that next step, we just need some consistency. You know, we got to show up better in big games. We got to finish. We got to take Fort Valley State off the schedule. You know, that's our biggest thing. This conference is tough enough. The coaches are good enough, and the players are good enough already. So to add Fort Valley State onto the schedule makes it too difficult. We can't beat ourselves, and I think we'll be okay.
The fine line on finish. I mean, what are the steps now that you sort of implemented to this team in terms of getting over?
Well, to finish, you got to finish in everything that you do. Something I say to the guys all the time is how you do anything is how you do everything. So finishing starts with finishing your practice. Finishing starts with finishing your reps and your weights. Finishing everything that you do. And if we can get to where we're finishing that, then that'll carry over to and you know, when you don't do those things, when you don't finish those reps and the weight room, when you don't finish practice like you're supposed to, it's going to show up in the game. And it did for us a couple times last year. So hopefully we've learned our lessons and now we understand the importance of preparation and finishing everything. If we do that,
Coach, you guys had an opportunity to play in the inaugural Florida Beach. So obviously, outside the weather, just talk about that experience playing down there, get that extra game, getting those extra practices, and getting those extra opportunities for those who came back last year's team, this team build together. And how does that help prepare you for this season?
Well, it's a couple things about that game. It's definitely a great opportunity for schools at our level to have a bowl game. Because when you have a bowl game, it's like having an extra spring ball. So you get all these extra practices to prepare. You have something to look forward to. And then we got down there and got to play in a great venue. It was a beautiful facility. The weather was bad, but the weather was awful. But the stadium was beautiful. And then, we got a chance to beat up on the CIAA. I would like, and I think there's a couple other coaches that agree, I would like to see if we could grow something like that into like the Division II version of Celebration Bowl. So we can showcase the SIAC and the CIAA, quite frankly, so we can beat up on the CIAA.
Not to cut you off, Coach, but I have said this for years. Dow just home to non-conference games out there now. They're back in the 17 game conference schedule. I always said there should be a week where CIAA and SIAC cross over as much as possible. But now there's only 2 games out there which you could possibly do it. Once you play your check game, and then maybe your other rival, there may not be room for everybody, but many teams can to have crossover. I would love to see those games happen.
Right, I think we got a couple this year. I know the Red Tails Classic, and then Shaw and Auburn State play each other.
And you got to get them Hall of Fame.
Who's playing in the Hall of Fame?
That's Benedict and
who's Benedict playing this
Okay. Benedict. Yeah, I know those are the 3 that top of my head, and I can probably support people down the field.
Yeah, I think it'd do great for the coaches, a little bit more crossover.
Fellas, we're doing speed dates here, so I just want to give y'all the opportunity to give a couple of quick shout-outs. Give your 30-second elevator speech on what you expect this season, and say hi to mama or grandmama and them, whoever you want to say hi to.
Just really excited for the season that we're about to have. Ready to get to it. Appreciate
I didn't get to ask my question. First of all, Secondly, second team. I wonder how you feel. How you feeling about the second team?
I can answer that.
Go ahead.
We don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
We don't like that. We feel like we had a number of guys that we nominated. And you know what? This stuff means nothing
in the grand scheme.
It means something to these kids. Sure. They've worked hard. I understand in the grand scheme of things it doesn't mean anything, but he's the first team linebacker in this conference. Kentrell Lawson is an all-conference linebacker in this conference. Adion Farmer is an all-conference defensive lineman. Cedric Hillsman is an all-conference defensive lineman. But that's cool, that they didn't get voted all-conference because it adds fuel to the fire and we'll go out and prove it.
Absolutely.
I'll answer that for him. We don't like it.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you guys, Coach. Speed date here today, so we appreciate y'all. We got to see who will be the next, Mr. SIAC.
Well, we've had Kentucky State, we've had Fort Valley State stop by here. We're going to transition Dr. Reveal on up in here. Jamie, I'm going to follow up on you talk a little bit about Kentucky State. What were some things that you think?
Just the way they were able to perform offensively, and that defense was solid for them. I think as they get players, and I think Coach Huggins has done a great job in implementing them, I think they'll improve. So they're gonna catch some people.
No doubt. We got the Morehouse Maroon Tigers coming in. Terrence Mathis, Coach Terrence Mathis, welcome in. Coach, I'm gonna have you introduce your players again as you sit down.
Right here to my left, quarterback Mark Carlisle, Jr.
To my right, Tyler Davis, junior defensive back.
I was listening to you up there on the panel. You guys have a healthy chip on your shoulder coming into this upcoming season. What are some things foundationally that you try to implement here in the offseason?
Well, coming here with the predictions coming out, we didn't expect anything more than where we were, just because of the history, because of the roster. If you look at the roster from last year, whatsoever, you put that prediction. What we've done is we've gotten better. When I said we've gotten better physically and mentally. It's a mindset thing. Get better. We don't even talk about things. We don't do the records or whatsoever. The only one that does it is me. I don't allow them to do it. If you're around them, they don't ever talk. They talk about where we are now and where we're going. And that's a good thing. And we brought some other student athletes in that's going to help us. And at the end of the day, we have smart young men. And they grasp everything that you say. They're like sponges. And we've changed, people talk about culture change. No, we want to change the atmosphere. Because you change the culture, you change the atmosphere. This community around, the state, it's a whole different thing. So we want to change the atmosphere because we need those outside of the program to support us to be successful.
Transition on it?
Yeah. First, I ask you about on the field, what players in on this in terms of that. What do you want to do on the offensive side of the ball?
We want to play fast, smart, and take advantage of opportunities. We want to make big plays, but at the same time, we want to control the game. Throw the ball. Believe it or not, being a former wide receiver, I want to run the football. And my offensive line coach, Bob Whitfield, played 16 years in the league, wants me to go. So it's a good balance, and we like what we're doing. We always try to find a way to do that, and that's what we've been doing this whole offseason.
How do you tackle the How do you
Well, we want to be big up front, but not just big. We want guys that's able to move and use their hands. And then we want linebackers that can run sideline to sideline, help a running back comes out the backfield. Yes, a couple guys that can get. And then we have defensive backs that it's going to be physical, but they're going to place and opportunities. My thing is, Coach Copeland is our defensive coordinator. In this spring, brought pressure. We did so many different things that it caused confusion for me, and it had me on my toes every day in practice. But I think as he and I speak about football games, hey man, we're playing to win, not to lose. So throw it all on the table.
For young men, for both. Talk about the transition. Some people react to change differently. How do you react to change where you feel things are?
I am a quarterback, I am a part of the team. I just want to say that no matter what happens, coach will bring us to the team. We still got to play all together. We still have to so whatever happens, we'll have our back. Our coach will find each other.
Feedback on the team tonight, man. Not until you got all the friends there, coach. I was really excited to join the resources that came along with it.
Last thing I got in terms of the resources, and I know you're limited about what you can say until the administrators start doing this, but there's been talk out there. This may have been before you came involved in terms of there's discussion on what I was considering moving from the division to this. Maybe what can you tell us in terms of just generally how you feel about what takes place to allow your administration to sign off?
Well, if that's the rumor, that's going to happen, we got to go. We have to get a state-of-the-art facility, field house, weight room, locker room, those things. We're already ready if that's the jump, because we're recruited well for the jump. If that's what we want to do. What we try to do when we looked at the roster, we knew it was pretty good. A lot of people say it wasn't. After we looked at it, it was pretty good. Pretty good, and we went on a recruitment thing with our philosophy. Let's recruit the guy that's just as good as we had. Was better, or can he play Division I football in the next 2 years? And then the caveat was you always have that diamond in the rough. Can he play on Sundays? And that's what we did. And to them, and I would. Biggest change, I think, for them is this: they're not scared to make mistakes. Because at the end of the day, I tell them, I'm gonna make mistakes, I'm gonna make bad calls, make bad decisions. But at the same time, I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna tell them I'm bad, I make mistakes, and that's why I want them to go out and play. And that's what they do. If you make mistakes, we all make mistakes. You know, I always give them an analogy. Let's say you have the ball in front of 90,000 people and lost a game. and you talk about making mistakes, and they pay you money to do that. So you should have no pressure to do what you do.
Coach, man, I appreciate you stopping by. Good luck on the season. Thank you all in terms of the insight, right? In terms of Morehouse football. Morehouse quarterback, man. I guess I can call you center to center. Exactly. Let's welcome Edward Waters Tigers on here, Coach Morgan. He gets his guys set up in here.
Always appreciate the jacket.
Yeah. Florida flag, I like that. Coach, I'm gonna start. Yeah. I'm gonna start things off. I'm gonna have you introduce your players.
To my left here, I have our wide receiver, all conference from Pahokee, Florida, Mr. Johnny Jones. And to my right here, we've got our starting offensive tackle from Jacksonville, Florida, Mr. Dylan Napkin.
You got 4 guys. Preseason all SIAC. Got some talent. Buzz, I got sleeper team.
Right.
You know, a lot of people are talking about in terms of buzz. When you take a look at this upcoming season, this football team, what gets you excited?
Just the start of it. We get off into coming right off into SIAC play, so that'll be the first time we've done that in the 4 years that are going into year 4 here. So again, we got to start fast. So our gauntlet of the schedule is right there at the beginning. So we got to come out of the gates ready to play. So we can get off to that fast start and propel us to what we've been in the past. Coming down the stretch.
I heard talk about the 12 men and the atmosphere down there. Talk a little bit about it again for our audience in terms of how difficult it is to play.
Well, it's a beautiful family game day atmosphere. The entire city of Jacksonville, Duval comes out to support. You have that great tailgating atmosphere. The student body, fans, they pack into the stadium. Then to help, it's 2:00 in the afternoon in Florida. So it might be, some might say it might be a tad bit hot. Just a little hot. And then, the turf might help elevate that just a little bit. Just a little.
No doubt.
And the fact, we practice on it, so it might give us a little bit of a level of comfort with it. So, coming down to Jacksonville is a great not just the assets, but also the home. Giving us the experience to the rest of the
I want to ask players in terms of being from in Florida, talk about that. But in terms of SIAC, the program started, transition, getting ready to go, everything in SIAC. How is your experience going through that? Even with university, college, a lot of that part of that legacy and tradition. Speak to that. How does it feel to know that you're growing and
It feels good.
It's amazing seeing the schools evolve.
Just
watching it. One class before I pass it out. A little bit about this. Y'all got that. Obviously, you got the real so you have your rivals, but then you have the SDS program. Talk about the opportunity maybe to get them in to know the focus is SIAC championship. What is that like?
Well, excited about it. I'm excited about
I gotta ask this question. I know we got a minute 42 left. Tuskegee. How y'all feeling? I called that game on one of the networks, and that was one of
tremendous call.
the best games I've ever been a part of. Take me through it, just real quick. Just give me some.
All right, well, from my standpoint, that was a minute of one man, we had it in the bag, and didn't have it in the bag, and had it in the bag, and didn't have it in the bag again. And so then it ultimately ended up a touchdown with 23 seconds left. We were able to get kicked off and did a great job of kicking off the turn, being able to, I think that was the most underrated aspect of it. Being able to get into the 40-yard line, get us a first down, and we just we drew the first one down there, and we came in short, and then it gave the opportunity to come down. So we were able to come down with a timeout. Noticed that we were dropping everybody in coverage, wasn't going to be a pass rush. We just told Jaron and the receivers, get the ball, don't gyrate, don't throw it out of bounds. We want to get it between the E and the end zone. Everybody get down there. We knew who the jumpers were, we knew who the trackers were, we knew who the guys were, and it played out for us. I think that was probably the play of the year. That kind of propelled us. I was excited for these guys, especially knowing I saw these guys.
Would not be denied.
That sounds like a great documentary. I like that. There you go, exactly. Coach Morgan, man, appreciate you stopping by.
Good job.
Yes, man. Appreciate you. Minute 42, Cardiac Cats. Stop by. We got coming in next.
See you. Coach Brown.
Coach, how you doing?
Brown, one of the long teams in the conference.
Lane College. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Lane College, welcome in. Coach Brown,
First of all,
He the real deal.
he was built like it.
I know you don't like to too personal, but you got a chance to chop it up. Really excited about the favorite. How is it to sons grow up and play
You know what? I'm sick, so
I snuck at night and Dallas, letting me know how serious it was. You know, we prayers up, you've been around the water, family, pray for them. But yeah, I had to get out Sunday to be able to get Monday. Hope all is well with him.
Yeah, they're doing fine. You know, the water's receding, but you know how slow it go down there. You know, so getting in and out is still an issue down there. But to answer your question, it's been an exciting run. You know, when you have sons and you have children and they come up around the profession of what you do, your ultimate goal and hope is to one day be able to coach them. And I was fortunate to be in this position with President Hampton and A.D. Burrows rolled the job over to me after being the coordinator for 2 years. That I said, hey, y'all want to play college football? They say they want to play college football. You want to play baseball? I say, I got an opportunity here for you, Elaine. I know y'all got other offers, but daddy right here. You know, so
I love it.
it's very exciting. The family just comes to one game on Saturday. You know, don't have to go over here, go over there, you know. So it's been truly a blessing and something that we'll be able to cherish for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
Even my oldest son being my offensive coordinator, have all my boys.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. I know it's a little personal, but I think it's good to get those stories out. Tyshawn, you got another great story. You talking about valedictorian. You know, a lot of folks play the game, play really well. You're able to do both, play at a high level, all conference player of the year, preseason, voted, but then you got the fact that you can do it academically. And you close it out. You're a graduate. And you're going to have more opportunities, maybe on the field, certainly off the field. Talk a little bit about when did that start for you, knowing that, hey, I want to achieve everything I can do athletically, but also academically.
I feel like academically, it was when I got the lane, because in high school, my GPA was like a 2-something. So when I got the lane, it kind of like my life just did a whole 360. I started like focusing more on football and academics, because when I was in high school, there was other stuff, distractions, stuff like that. So when I got the lane, I just feel like my life did a 360, you know. I started just dedicating my time to just football and academics, because, you know, we wake up early, 5 o'clock every day, you know, but it's like dedication. That's the main word I would say, dedication. What do you do after the fact? What do you do at nights? You gonna go to a party, you gonna study, or you gonna work or watch film? So I just feel like dedication.
Man, that sounds like an infomercial there.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Coach, let me ask this question in terms of I looked at your first 3 games. Challenging schedule. Jackson State defending SIAC champion Benedict, and then Miles. In terms of I guess the challenge of the schedule, how do you think that will shape the team as you matriculate through the season?
Well, the first thing we're going to do is work on ourselves when we come back in from camp. And then once we figure out our identity for ourselves, who we are, how we're going to play on offense, defense, and special teams, then we'll get ready for Jackson State. You know, we got to go in there and deal with the blueprint, you know. And the expectation is go in there and win. You know, we've done it before.
Right.
You know, I mean,
literally
nobody gave us
beating up on another Tiger.
Tennessee State, but we went in there and pulled it off. I mean, we lost 3 times against Pine Bluff, where it came down to the fourth quarter, and last 2 or 3 minutes in the ball game. So our kids have already been battle tested, you know, and that's all this group knows, is getting the opportunity to play a team with more scholarships than us. We only have 21 scholarships. They got the full allotment plus some at Jackson State, so it's a challenge for our guys, and we're looking forward to that. Then we go to Benedict week 2, and I think they got a bye. So they taking a bye before they play Lane. That says a lot.
Yeah.
That says a lot. Then week 3, we play Mines. They taking a bye before they play Lane. It's saying a lot.
Wow.
See what I'm saying? So I think it speaks for itself if you look at it. And I talk to our kids, which I'm going to talk to them. I talk to my staff.
Mm-hmm.
You talking about playing on the big stage, where Jackson State is their first home game, big stage, whatever name that game gonna be. Benedict game is named something. Miles game is named something. I looked at the teams that scheduled up for homecoming. I don't think I have to wear these kids up, Coach. You know, I mean, so I'm already fired up about that.
Yeah, you are. You're living fire. That ain't no problem. Last question I have for you in terms of the business is beyond the game, in terms of everything you put into this. Where did that kind of come from, and how do you transition that into your athletes? Because you speak about them being ready for the moment.
Right.
Where did that come from for you?
Well, you know, growing up, my daddy was a neighborhood head coach. Okay. So being ready was always part of something that we always do. If you stay ready, then you got to get ready.
There you go.
So my job now is all my experience from playing at Grambling to coaching at different teams in the SWAC is every now and then you get that deja vu moment, like I've been here before. And I try to bring it to them and let, hey, this is your moment. It's going to happen right now. You see what I'm saying? Like, they can stand next to me on the field sometime, and I say, it's going to be a fumble happen right now. And it happens. So it's just being ready for that moment when it happens, because you can't get that play.
It's good stuff. Close out here as we transition. I know we're getting moving, but I remember when you got the job, and it just seems like yesterday as a young coach, but now you're one of the elder statements, if you allow me to say that, in the conference. So it's great to have you. Continue the great work. You can see it. It speaks for yourself. Have a great season. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach.
Right.
Appreciate it.
We'll talk. Hit me up.
Appreciate you. Lane College Dragons stopping by. Got Central State coming in next? All right. How you doing?
All right, Coach
How you
Porter.
doing? Central State. Yeah. You want to kick things off, James?
Yeah, I kick it off. First of all, how y'all doing? Good, good. Now, who do we have here?
Mike White, defensive end.
Kevin Porter, head football coach, Central State University.
And, quarterback, Kendall Boney.
Kicker and punter, Jose Cheris.
Welcome.
Yes, absolutely. Now, you know, you talked on stage about, you know, kind of taking a step back, but you talked about the point differential and being in games. What can you do to kind of remedy that this year to make sure you're on top of those instead of being on the other end?
Well, for us, it really comes down to just doing the same things that we do every day and just working on our execution. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Working on our execution. You know, I think, you know, those games that I talked about, Tuskegee, we ended up losing by 7. We've got 2 opportunities to score a touchdown. Same thing with Allen. Lose by 7, got 2 opportunities with the football to score a touchdown. So we just got to execute. And I think that, you know, if you look at it when the commissioner and they were talking about it on the panel about those 4 teams that were battling for one spot to get into the championship game, you know, we scored 2 touchdowns. We're in that conversation, you know. So we just got to continue to do what we've been doing. We took over a program a couple years ago that had won 8 games in 9 years. You know, we won 8 games in 2 years.
Sure.
Won a 4-game winning streak at the end of the season last year that hadn't happened at Central since the mid-'90s. You know, so we're in a good place. I think that you know, our guys are starting to understand the legacy at Central State. I don't think that, you know, a lot of people, when they come into the program, because there was such a, they basically got the death penalty for a while, but before all of that, you know, Central State was one of the great football programs in the nation, and especially
no
for
doubt
the
about
HBC,
it.
yeah, especially definitely at the HBCU level, but just in the entire country. You know, so our guys have to understand that legacy. Our guys have to understand that they bear the burden of that, and it's important for them to go out and represent the university. And I think that for us, just getting back to that standard, it has been a grind, but I think that we've put ourselves in position to be able to not only be able to compete with every team in the conference, but to be able to get to the top. You know, so and that's our goal.
Coach Porter, let me follow up on it. You were talking about execution, 4-game win streak to end the season last year, but when you take a look at it, does the light bulb go off in the film room or on the practice field in terms of making those key plays to winning ball plays, if you will?
Well, I think that obviously everything starts with me. And I think that, I've got to do a better job of making sure that our guys understand the critical situations, the situations where they have to understand, guys, all we got to do is get in the end zone. You know, we've done it 3 times already. All we got to do is get in the end zone one more time. So it's my job to continue to instill that in our young men. I think that as we have gone through this process over the last 2 years to get to where we are now, I think that it's starting to transfer to our kids. They're starting to understand that every day, every down, everything counts. You know, and I think that for us, we just got to finish the fight. You know, we got to start the fight, but we got to finish the fight. And I think that our guys are starting to understand that. Our guys are starting to understand that they can play with anybody in the conference. We talk about those 2 games. I think that those 2 games kind of might have not broke our spirit, but really injured it. But it's a great testament to these guys that they were able to get up off the mat and win 4 games in a row. So that puts us in a great position going into this season. So we're just looking forward to getting back the ball.
Sure. I want to talk to the players. This is for each of you in terms of that. Y'all come in here and y'all look extremely focused, and I can appreciate it working with young folks. I want to talk a little bit about the philosophy of these road trips. You know, some people take long road trips to you, but you get on the road. How does it work in your favor in terms of building the chemistry within the team to go and transition this year to get a couple of those key victories?
All of our trips are long
road trips.
Yeah, I try to be kind, but you can start with the quarterback.
Okay, so with the long road trips, we did a great job of just as a team staying together as guys, like really building a brotherhood, like really staying together. So even on these long road trips, it's still business. Like everybody's got the standard, and we all understand what the standard is. Like, don't let that change, no matter where it at. Even though we're not playing at home, it's home still. So we keep that same mantra everywhere we go.
These 2 are from Atlanta, so they road trips down here are good road trips.
Yeah, I bet.
Coming home.
Like our quarterback, Kendall Boney, said, it's a brotherhood that we built up to this point. It's a business trip at all time. And like Coach Porter says, we're here to play championship football. We're here to win football games, and that's really what it is. That's what we're here for. We're here to graduate and play championship football game. That's what's built our brotherhood at the practice field, on the field when we're at practice, and when it's time to play, it's time to go.
Like Boney said, we got to treat away games like home games. So, from the moment we leave to the moment we arrive, we got to be locked in and focused. On the bus, we get the team bond more, like a brotherhood, spend time with each other, learn more about each other, and,
that's good.
Talk about how we're going to go about the gameplay and, amongst each other so we can be on one page because, you need all 11 on the field to play, and win. So we got to be as a unit, playing. We can't just have one person making plays and the other people falling off or being all over the place. But, like I said, as a collective, know what everybody's mission is and know what we coming down there to do, which is, win and go 1-0 that week and then go to the next week focused on being 1-0.
I know all y'all make plays, but you making plays, and so continue to get it done.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No doubt. Coach, I appreciate you bringing your team by. Good luck on the season. Those road trips, they're bonding moments, if you will. I like that. Yes, indeed. Appreciate you stopping in.
Good job. Good to meet you.
Central State Marauders.
All right, QB.
The school of Hugh Douglas. Yes, indeed. Let's see what team we got coming in now.
Oh, my pleasure. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Okay. Okay.
So, sure thing. Looks like we got Albany State coming in. Coach Quinn Gray. Come on in, Coach.
Coach, as you're sitting down, I need to make sure I get the information for your Taylor.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I need to get the information for your Taylor as you're sitting down.
This ain't Taylor suit right here.
Well, it ain't off the rack. Coach Quinn Gray, welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. Introduce who you brought here with you, Coach.
My fat back D lineman. Redshirt sophomore, defensive line, Abraham Cleanscales, and I apologize because I said sophomore up there.
Yeah,
going to be a junior.
Yeah, you want the year.
Isaiah Knowles from Tampa, Florida.
Already.
Okay. Well, Coach, as always, and they talked about Blue Blood program, target always on Albany State's back, but does that bring an added amount of pressure going into every season, knowing that this is a checkmark game here for most teams when they see Albany State coming in?
I think, for us, man, we actually relish in that, you know what I mean, because it allows us to make sure that we're preparing the right way, knowing that folks are preparing for us as, quote unquote, their championship game, you know what I mean? So, what we do as a program, we don't allow our kids to rest on any type of success that we may have, simply because on any given Saturday, we can, as we saw last year, we can be beat, you know what I mean? So for us, man, to have that target or proverbial, stigma of we're the target, have that on our back, that's nothing new for us, because we prepare ourselves each and every week as if, we have to play our top football. And, just going into the season, it's great to have the respect of the conference thinking, okay, preseason, number one, but if you ain't that at the end of the season, what does it matter?
Sure.
Right? So, for us, we're preparing ourselves the same way as if we were the number 13 predicted team as well.
I'm going to ask this for the players in terms of their legacy. Obviously, I'm sure rich program that you learn about their legacy. But what do you feel about getting it back to the pinnacle in terms of the top? Because this hadn't been there in a while, even though people understand about that. If you would, talk a little bit about how you prepare mentally to make sure you're ready for this grind of the season to ultimately be where you want to be at the end.
We know that the standard at Albany State is excellence. And we know winning is the expectation as well. And we was blessed to be able to go to the championship last year, but obviously we didn't finish the way we wanted to. So we've been using that as motivation this entire offseason because we want to get back. We know we're going to get back there. And at the end of the day, we got to finish the job now.
Finish.
Yeah, definitely just got to finish the job. We already know the standard. We know what the go-around standard is, so we just got to live up to that standard. And mentally, really just stay locked in, pray, and, get moving. Don't do too much talking, too much rah-rah, just get the job done.
In terms of scheduling, Coach, I know you do it in regards to your conference play, but also in regards to non-conference. Talk about your philosophy in terms of your non-conference schedule.
When it comes down to non-conference, man, we want to try and probably play some of the best teams. You know what I mean? We want to try and make sure that we play a team that may be a proverbial playoff team and things like that, which is, we play Valdosta. And then we want to get a little bit of taste of the CIAA, you know what I mean? So we try to make sure our out-of-conference games are very, very competitive. Not necessarily games, because sometimes people schedule games that they feel they can win, but we want to test ourselves and see where we are against teams that some folks may think are better than us, you know what I mean? So with that, last year we played Wingate, played Valdosta, very, very tough.
I noticed.
We opened up with Valdosta this year, so, the expectation for us when it comes down to those out-of-conference games is to go in there and play good, tough football and come out with a win. But, you always want to measure yourself against teams that you feel are teams that people feel that probably can beat you. So at the end of the day, man, we try and make sure that we put people on our schedule that are going to be tough and we can measure ourselves against.
Sure.
Now, Coach, I'm going to go a little personal here. You good?
Yeah.
You good? I know, this past, some health troubles, some things you had to look out for. How is that kind of transition as far as how you operated football wise?
Well, it's what I preach to our guys all the time, man. I talk to them about taking care of their bodies, right?
Yes, sir.
I tell them about making sure they're putting the right things and eating right and things of that magnitude. And it's a matter of practicing what you preach, right? So,
Good.
you know, I've made sure that I've, you know, continued to go to my doctor's appointments, whereas sometimes before I miss them and put them aside and reschedule and don't show up. You know how it goes, but you know, at the end of the day, man, we only get one body, and you got to take care of your temple. So for me, obviously, my wife has been very, very instrumental in that as well.
Amen.
So you know, just making sure I'm going to my appointments, eating better. If I have a medication to take, making sure I'm taking the medication that I'm supposed to take, and then just ultimately working out. You know what I mean? Whether it's walking 2 or 3 miles a day at the house or whatever the case may be. He looking at me crazy because he don't see it. But
Yeah, I was saying, so he's not getting out there sprinting with y'all, but he claiming.
Right. But you know, for the most part, it's getting up early, walking around where I live and all that good stuff. Getting maybe a mile or 2 in each and every day, and then going to work. Because at the end of the day, the grind of work is what it is.
It is a
You know what
grind.
I mean?
Yeah.
You're in the office so long and all that good stuff, and trying to make sure that you're preparing these guys each and every day, that you can sort of kind of lose sight of what it is that's the most important. Because at the end of the day, if you ain't taking care of yourself, you definitely can't take care of them.
No doubt.
Glad you're doing well. And for the players, both of you on the offensive side of the ball, with the offensive guru like a Quinn Gray that's transitioned from a run-first heavy team to wanting to throw the ball around. What can this offense be this year?
I think it's going. We saw flashes of it last season during a couple games, and I know with the whole year under our belts, with the experience with the offense, there's also confidence that goes with it. And I know absolutely like we are gonna thrive this season. So
I look forward to it.
Yeah, looking
August
forward to
31st,
it.
man.
Yeah.
So, quick question. EA Sports college football game comes out next week. Do you take Team Builder and build Albany State? And,
Oh yeah, that already. Gotta put all of us in the game.
There you go. There you go. Well, Coach, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for stopping by. We're going to keep you guys going through the car wash.
Absolutely.
No
Appreciate
doubt.
it.
Albany State Golden Rams, Coach Quinn Gray.
Appreciate you, Coach. Yep.
Stopping by. Appreciate you. Hey, enjoyed it.
Appreciate you. Look forward to it, man.
See who we got coming in next. Looks like we got the Miles Golden Bears. Yes, indeed. Coach Sam Shade, getting him in here now. Coach.
Oh, look at it. Yeah, come on. Big time, baby. Let's go.
Coach, you still look like you got another 5 plays in you there. How you doing? How you doing? Go ahead. Yes, indeed. Welcome in, Coach. Yes, indeed. Welcome in, Coach Sam Shade. First and foremost, let me start off. Introduce who you brought here with you.
Okay, first off, to my left, I've got Trevonta Abner. He's a junior tight end from Lynette, Alabama.
Like he's ready to go, too.
Yes, sir. Next up, we've got senior Jay Andrews, actually graduated in May. He's a wide receiver for us, and talked about him being a legacy
That's why you
guy.
came up with a little bit of that swag. I see that's a graduation swag. Yes, sir.
Yeah, he's feeling pretty good.
Yeah,
But
he
we
should.
We're talking about those classes he's going to take in the fall, too. We've been talking about
grad class. There you go. Get it done, man.
And his parents are proud. They're both
They
Miles
should
College
be.
grads.
Oh, man. Big time. Congratulations. Legacy, man.
That's
I
nice.
love it.
Coach, and I heard you here on the panel, 1-9 to 7-3 to where you are now within this program. Where is this Miles College program, and can you take the next step?
Well, you know, we feel like we're in a good place. We feel like we have laid the foundation at Miles College. We feel like we've got a really good culture as far as, and it's evident by these 2 guys right here. These are 2 guys that are all conference guys that, you know, just like a lot of the other players that are here today that could have gone in the transfer portal and went other places. But obviously because of what we got going on at Miles College, they want to be at Miles College. So we feel really good about that, really good about where we are.
In terms of building the culture, what are some things that you did to establish or reestablish Miles football culture, if you will?
Well, you know, as a football coach, I tell people all the time, we're always trying to improve it and make it better. during the season, at the end of every season, after the 1-9 season, I feel like our coaching staff, man, my assistant coaches did an awesome job of going out and recruiting for last year's team. Not just high school kids. They did a great job of vetting the transfer guys that we brought in, guys like Trevonta Abner. He was a transfer last year, came in, started every game at tight end, and brought a lot of leadership. And we brought some other guys like that were graduates. Our quarterback last year, Edward Klein-Peter, we got him last summer. Phenomenal guy, phenomenal leader. Same thing on the defensive side. We brought in a couple guys. One of our safeties was a grad. We actually had 9 guys that were graduates on our team last year.
Wow.
So, just a lot of leadership, but good players and even better people.
Sure.
Awesome. I'm going to stick with you, and then I'm going to the players on this. I'm going to show you I do a little bit of my homework. They call me Dean of the HBCU Sports. I understand there's a graduate program coming in that they just got to prove a business sport management concentration. So I don't know if you go in there, but if you need a little help, let me know. I developed a program at Texas Southern, so I'd like to see you look at that. As you talk about that in terms of scheduling, and then I want to get how y'all feel about it. I know you're very aggressive in terms of your scheduling.
Right.
Sometimes you schedule up, as they say, right?
Yes.
Playing against FCS
yes.
programs, sometimes in the SWAC. We saw that last year. Why is that? Why do you do that? And then I want to ask you all how y'all feel about it. I know every game is big. SIAC is certainly important because you want that chip. But when you get a chance to play the FCS SWAC teams, how do you feel about it?
Well, I tell guys in recruiting right off the bat. I told him when he was already here, but I told the team, look, we're going to play the best we can play.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go out. We're not ducking anybody. I'm not scared, man. Those guys put their pants on the same way these guys do, one leg at a time.
We saw that last year.
And they understand that. They bought into that. They understand that. So, for us, it's not something that we run from. Stepping up and playing teams that are Division I teams or even out-of-conference teams, such as some of the Gulf South teams.
That's right.
For us to go play West Alabama.
Yep.
Yes.
Can I get a little bit of y'all opinion from a player's perspective? When Coach came in there and told me we gonna suit it up, we gonna see what you want to do. Let's go.
Me personally,
yes,
I think just it give us another opportunity to showcase our ability as the SIAC to a bigger opponent that we're not taking like lightly as a smaller school. So I think just coming in taking advantage of a big opportunity like that, I think is great.
I like that, representing Miles, representing the SIAC.
Yeah.
Let me know your thoughts.
Honestly, I just take each game as the next game. We just show our talents.
See, Coach rubbing off that Coach. Each
game is the next game. So
graduate, you do that. Go ahead.
All right, Coach Shea, you're a defensive guy. You defense all the way. But tell me, with these pieces right here, what this offense can be.
Well, see, people forget, man. I grew up. I loved offense. My entire life. I just played defense growing up to help the team because I'm a team guy. So
you heard it. You ain't never heard this story.
I actually went to college. They know I went to college to play offense. I signed to play offense, but I guess they saw that defensive film and said, "Hey, you can help us more over here."
Right.
But I learned a lesson from that, and I tell these guys that. Man, sometimes people see stuff in you don't see in yourself.
Wow.
So you got to trust the coaches with that deal. So I'm not just a defensive guy. I'm an offensive guy. And then I tell them, look, man, when I went to pro ball, my first 2 years I wasn't a starter. I didn't start. I made a living on special teams. So I'm offense, I'm special team, I'm defense. And they know that I go spend time with the receivers, I spend time with the tight ends, every group on our team, and I try to know what's going on to where, I can interject where our coaches are sometimes, talking about things, and that's just how I am. I like being a part of the whole team. I don't want to be the defensive coordinator. I don't want to be the offensive coordinator. I want to spend time with all my players and all my coaches.
It seems to be working.
I like that Renaissance approach to the whole.
Absolutely.
Yes, indeed. Well, Coach, we'll keep you going in terms of continuing with the car wash.
Yes, sir.
You guys have represented yourself well here with Miles College. Appreciate you stopping by, Coach.
Well, I just want to say this, man. I appreciate you guys, what you do, man. I'm one of those guys. I'm watching you guys. I'm watching and listening. Before the season, during the season, after the season, man. We appreciate the coverage that you give to the SIAC and, all of these student athletes, man. We really appreciate it. It doesn't go overlooked.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Chris down there that works in athletics, I think he's transitioned out. Tell him I say he made sure that I get all the information on Miles. He don't think I ever give enough coverage, so I'm working on it to make sure. So I just sent him a picture to let him know I'm putting in the work. So make sure you tell him I say that. Because seriously, he's a good guy.
Call Chris and tell him. He
All right.
does some video stuff for us.
Right.
Nice.
That's what I thought. Yep. Good deal.
Nice.
Good deal. Pleasure, man. Keep up the great work.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate you.
Look forward to the season.
Sure thing.
All right. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I see. Well, I tell you what, it's been fast and furious.
Coach, I'm the one that told him last night. I told him I picked y'all one. I don't know what they talking about, so
It's okay. Well,
I'm looking into it.
How you doing?
I plan to get to a game in Atlanta. I like to find a way to get to Atlanta, and you over there. I was like, all right, we're going to Clark Atlanta Panthers.
Coach, a lot of buzz around this Clark Atlanta Panther football team. You guys kind of have that little sleeper cell, something going with you here, but coming over from Allen, taking over this program, what are some things that you've tried to instill in this program early?
Well, the first thing I did is I evaluated the kids that were already there. We went through spring ball, and I found, playing them at Allen, and over the years, from Stillman to Miles and those places, I've always noticed that Clark Atlanta had decent talent. It would always be competitive. There would never be a game you went into the AU Center that they wasn't competitive. So now you're trying to figure out what it is that's going to take them to push them over the edge. So as I got into the organization, I saw that there's things other than the football piece that causes a disruption in what's going on there. So now we've kind of worked through administrations. We worked through the processes of going to school, getting a kid where you got to go, and also trying to figure out how to change not just the kids' mindset, but the institutional mindset towards football. And that makes an important difference about what it is. And just luckily I got a guy named Dr. French, who was the leader of Miles College when the turnaround happened there. He understands, he knows what it looked like. So that's a great pivoting point to make sure that we have the things that we need in order for us to be successful. So I love challenges. That's what drives me. Sure. I think if you wake up in the morning and you don't have a purpose in what you're trying to accomplish, then it becomes dull to you. So when people ask me about Allen, I did everything I said I was going to do at Allen. I started their team. I built their team. I did everything they asked me to do. We left it in a winner's position. I saw another challenge that really would do, if one of us in the SIAC could take this Atlanta market and grab it by the horns and make it a place, it would become a great situation for the SIAC. It's more for the greater good of the whole conference.
Sure.
No doubt about it. I've been looking at Clark Atlanta in terms of this market, and when I saw that transition, and as you said with Dr. French, let him know I've been following his presidencies back when he was at Miles, what he does, and I appreciate what he does to elevate the institutions and the work. So I'm glad that you brought that to the table. But let's talk a little bit about in terms of your philosophy of how you're building this team with everything taken back from offense, defense. You go defense first or offense? Where it's going to be played?
Offense sells ticket, defense win championship. Okay. I kind of changed my philosophy a little bit towards I'm an offensive-minded guy, so I really needed to figure out a way. And when I hired L.C. Cole back when I was at Allen, it was probably the best hire that I made. I'm not intimidated by no one. I think that the bottom compete, the top collaborate. So I found a way to collaborate with a guy that had more experience. He's old enough to be my father. So you get that head coach. He's been the only black coach to win the OVC twice in my career. Goes over to Alabama State. No matter what the controversial things say, he know how to win. So bringing a guy to the table that knows how to win, he understands that he's a great defensive coordinator, probably arguably one of the best in the country. So when we brought him over, he started talking about defensive philosophies, and we worked in. So when we got to Clark, the first thing we wanted to do was look at the players that were already there. So we went through every one of them, gave them a chance to compete. There's some that rose to the top, James Somerset being one, Seth Brooks being another one, Cam Ivey being another one. There's some guys that were there that were good pieces. So in order for us to be able to win, being that we look forward to our first football game, which is Fort Valley, which is a tough place to go down, who is a traditional blue blood of this conference. So we went down and we said, okay, now we got to get ready for Fort Valley. How can we get better on defense faster? Well, let's go back and look at the players that we had at Allen. Those guys really want to come, so they already understand the system. They know what to do, how to do it, and why it's important for them to do it that way. Then we looked at transfers to put into that place. And the offense, we didn't have to move many pieces other than a quarterback. The running back left me and went to Alabama State. So I said, let's go find another running back. And just so happened Elijah Crockett for the University of Alabama landed in my lap. So we get Elijah Crockett.
It just
and
landed.
add the receiving core that they already had Ronnie West, Stevens, Darren Stevens, and David Martin, and then we had Jamal Jones from Allen. We had Amon Harris from Allen, and then we knew you can't win ball games unless you win up front. And I think the difference between black college football, PWI football, is the trenches. It's not necessarily the skill guys and the quarterback play. So if you can find the 5 guys that you can get up front that's going to block, and you can find a defensive line that can control the line of scrimmage and get good pass rush, I think you got a shot at being successful. And that's the way we build. We build a team inside out.
No doubt. And as we bring Jamie in, let me introduce you to. I neglected to have you introduce who you brought here with you.
Okay, I brought here Cam Ivey. He's a senior here. He's been a part of the program. He's been a part of the ups, the downs, and the mindset of the program and the culture. And then I brought David Wright. He's the ringing player of the year. Great quarterback. We've been working on different mindset things with him. Everything starts with the trigger man. And we got to make sure our trigger man understand that everybody around him got to believe in him. And that's the same thing we're doing. We're trying to combine a whole lot of guys together. And we got to, and that camp, the training camp is going to be essential to us, not just from developing of the players, but also developing the mindset and getting them all to play at the same level and not be in competition with each other.
No doubt. Go for it, Jay.
I'm going to talk specifically to the players. Cam, you've been in this program, and like Coach said, through the ups and downs. How has the philosophy changed with Coach Keaton coming in?
Everything has changed, if you want to be honest. The energy has changed. The energy inside the stadium is one thing that's very important to the team. If you have a good energy around the team, everybody's going to want to be at practice. Everybody's going to want to compete at practice. Everybody's going to want to do certain things they don't normally do at practice. So everything is around the discipline. You know what I'm saying? You have to be disciplined to play this game. Everything that you could think of to win the game, he has brought to this stadium.
Absolutely. And David, you've been with Coach Keaton for a while. I've heard him over the last couple of years talk about just how improving you has been vital. He's always seen the potential, always seen what you can do. And I did not realize that you had only played quarterback 1 year in high school when you talked about that. So I'm blown away by that because you're a great thrower of the football. You wanted to tone down your interceptions. What's the next progression for you to be? You're already, been player of the year. What's that next progression for you?
Managing the game. Being able, when we're up, learning how to control the ball and learning how to make sure we finish the game when we on top and not throw the game away, like he said.
Right. Coach been putting in work this summer everywhere too. Please don't get. I'm all over social media. So bringing in players and building this program. And so I'm gonna ask this to Coach. How has the buzz been around CAU Panther Stadium since you've entered?
From what I understood, there hadn't been that many people come to spring ball. Every day we had a packed house. Everybody was there to see us. Everybody was there to come in. And we care about that, but what I really cared about is what David just said, him growing as an individual. You know, it takes everybody to grow as individuals and get better at their craft, and I think he's done a tremendous job. We paired him with some guys down in Florida to work with. He's been working on his stuff. Management of the game for him, he gets blamed for a lot of the interceptions that's thrown, but a lot of times nobody sees that the receiver may have run the wrong route. He may have broke it off way too, because a lot of our stuff is about timing. And if he say he take one and I'm throwing it to the front pylon, and then they be, well, I went this way, and next thing you know it throws up. He gets bad credit for it, but the receiver and everybody involved does that. But I think that David has grown over the last 3 years, that I'm proud of him. And I like to see him, as when I watched him this spring, he had a different mindset and approach to the game. And I was like, okay, see, they got to buy into him on offense. And I think that they can attest to it. Everybody bought into him when he got there. They all believed in him. Not off his pretty. I say all that stuff we did in the past, nobody cares about. They want to see who you are when you come to the big city. In Columbia, there was nobody there to really watch us. We was at practice. We was always by ourselves. We could go out there and do. But every time we show up in Atlanta, somebody's there to watch us. So I'm glad that he's came. And I told him, the world has a target on your back right now. So you're going to have to come and you're going to have to show up and produce. It's okay to make one hit. You made a hit now. Now you got to figure out how to make another hit. Make another hit. And everybody's going to be watching him. And it's going to be the good, the bad, and the ugly. So if you don't improve as an individual, it's going to determine how much they're going to rape you when you get in the media now.
Great point.
Yeah, and we already talking about that you wasn't preseason. You ended the season, you transitioned, and I'm like, what's going on? How do you compartmentalize that and still make it work where you're saying, hey, I'm going to focus, I'm going to show it on the field with my team to get the stats and W's positioned when it counts at the end of the year?
Well, last year is last year, and it's in the past. I did good last year, but I
see you're a quick study under the coach.
I could do way better. I know it's a lot of room for improvement.
Okay.
So, and we got a great offense, so it's going to be a good year.
I want to talk about this. Like you said, being through the transition and going through it, you talked about the energy. How does that energy work for you, and why do you say that the energy is different?
Well, I've been through 4 coaches in 4 years. I've been through 3 DCs in 4 years.
Wow.
I've seen 9 QBs in 4 years. So it's different type of energies that came in place. Everybody trying to find a fit. Like you said, you're in Atlanta. Everybody can't survive in Atlanta.
Okay.
So if you come to Atlanta with that energy and know how to work in Atlanta, know how to move in Atlanta, that's all you need to have a winning culture, and we have that here.
No doubt. Well, Coach.
Well, I want to get one more in.
Go ahead.
Get in there. They call me the dean of HBCU sports, and obviously, Clark Atlanta is that jewel. On the academic side, you're talking about a Research 2 institution, the only D2 program out there, HBCU program out there, that's ranked on the R2. Talk a little bit, as you said, with the president like Dr. French, all this talk about different divisions. Obviously, you talking about elevating Clark, elevating SIAC. How do you put yourself in a position where people continue to talk about Clark and folks want Clark to even maybe be a part of their conferences? How do you deal with all that that's outside of what you control in terms of the football field?
Keep the main thing the main thing.
Okay.
We're focusing on what I can control. And if I have a seat at the table, I make sure I speak up and say the things that need to be said. Okay. If there's processes that need to be addressed, you bring them up. It's not going to change overnight, because you're talking about people that's deep-seated and rooted in the way that they feel things should go. But there's some people that Dr. French put in place that has allowed that opportunity to be able to speak and say the things that they have. And when you got a supportive president, as I had at every institution I've been with Ernest McNeely as long as I've been coaching. So I appreciate his leadership, because there's some administrations that don't care about sports. They care about the academic component. But I think that there's a space. Football is the front porch of your institution. This is the first thing that happened in fall. This many people gathered together just to know about what's going to happen. That's what it is. It's about that. So we need to make it a degree of importance. Watch the enrollment increase. We did it at Allen. Watch the people that want to come see you. Allen, before I went to Columbia in 2018,
yes,
I didn't even know where Columbia was located, the Allen University. I passed it many a times going to play Benedict. I thought it was a part of Benedict. I didn't know that. So when I got there, look how much we've grown because of football. Not because of the academic component, but because of football. So I want to do the same thing here. This just need the show to happen. The stage already set. Everything for this is already set. It's just a matter of us going out there. And if the kids understood what they're doing here, this is legacy here now. If they are able to turn the page, they'll upset history, and their kids will be able to talk about their kids, about what happened at Clark Atlanta University.
No doubt about it. Well, Coach, I appreciate you stopping in
and
providing us that tremendous insight in terms of Clark football. Definitely one of the buzz teams, yeah.
So don't be a stranger now. When we find a way to get in Atlanta, be on one of the games and cover it, make sure you
I'm never going to back down, whether it's good, bad, or different. I tell my kids, take ownership.
We're going to be there. We want to see this.
You play bad, you got to do it the good with the bad.
There it is. There it is. Appreciate you stopping by, Coach.
Anytime you need it, let us know. We'll get your message out there. Look forward to
Clark Atlanta Panthers.
Good stuff, man. Good. Looking forward to it.
We got coming into the fold now. Coach Aaron James and his Tuskegee Golden Tigers. Welcome in. Yeah, I saw you cheesing and smiling all over the place. So it was like, let me make sure AD is somewhere close. I knew Tuskegee was around. Coach James,
never hear the end of it.
Exactly. Welcome in. Let me first and foremost start off with tell us who you got brought with you.
Well, to my right, I have Michael King, Defensive Player of the Year, preseason Defensive Player of the Year, and I have Sean Stidden, offensive line, 3-year starter for me. So
look like he moved some people.
Oh yeah.
Look like you ready to go get somebody too.
He's real hungry, so he's ready to roll.
Let's eat.
No doubt, Coach. We know what the pedigree is at Tuskegee. When you take a look, when you take a look at this team going into this 2024 season, what do you think is going to be one of the components that gets you over the top back to the championship circle?
Everybody buying in, coming in ready to roll day one of camp. So we've been harping on that, been making sure that everybody's focused during the spring. You know, everything starts in the off season. So we had a pretty good spring, and everybody's buying into the system because we got a new offensive coordinator coming in. You know, he took it off my plate. You know, I'm an offensive guy. I called it for the past 2 years. So he's coming in. Harry Williams, he was the offensive coordinator at Alabama State last year, and a former teammate of mine as well. So, and then on the defensive side of the ball, we got a new defensive coordinator as well. So, I mean, just putting all the pieces together, and like I say, all the kids buying in and just getting ready to roll.
Quick follow-up to that. What's it going to be like for you letting go of the reins of the offense?
It's going to...
Or are you?
Yes.
Kind of pause on that.
You know, me and Coach Williams, we kind of got the same mindset of offense, and I mean, it's all about scoring points and just being excited on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, that's all it is. Get in the end zone and
ain't gonna be no problem.
Yeah, that's it.
Get in the end zone, you don't have to worry.
Exactly.
We're gonna talk. With that, let's get to the players, and I'll come back and I got something from you. Just talk about the excitement coming into the season, resurging in a lot of ways of the programs. You had some good wins, some downs last year. Let me know where you want to see personally for yourself and team goals.
Well, one of our team goals is to really win the championship this year. Okay. We went my freshman year, but we lost to Benedict, and then we didn't even make it last year. So that's our team goal, just trying to compete for a championship and win the championship, dominate the championship. And a personal goal is I just want to be better than I was last year. Okay. I'm really starting to learn the DB position, so I'm getting better at it this summer. Trying to do all the right things to make sure I do better than I did last year. Try to get 10 picks probably.
All right.
Double digits.
Okay. 10 picks. Go for it.
80. Let him answer the question, 80 first.
What was the question?
He forgot what we hit. I just talk a little bit about how you're looking forward to the season and what do you want to do, team goals and personal goals.
Like King said, one of the team goals is to win the championship, which is everybody's goal. But our goal is to follow the game plan and make sure we win. One of my goals for this season is my last season. Got to go out with a bang.
Okay.
Got to dominate every person in front of me. be absolutely dog tired in the game, give all the effort that I have. If I can do the best that I can.
No doubt, no doubt. AD, go for it.
First one is for Coach. Coach James, I remember when you played at Tuskegee, obviously being a Tuskegee grad myself, and some of those great teams that you played on. And as much as the offense was good on those teams, that defense was extra special on those teams. What from that era that you played have you instilled in the players that you are coaching at Tuskegee today?
It's all about dominance. I mean, you got to dominate. And like I said, I preach that to these guys. And we have some good defensive guys that's coming in. And they're, like I said, from last year and some added pieces that's coming in this year. So it's all about getting off the field. Defense got to get off the field. I mean, that's pure point blank. And like you said, back in the days when our defense was back then, they called it the dirty defense. The dirty defense. Even though offensively, we was putting up some points as well. But that's called a team. It's a team effort. Offense, defense, special team. So with all three phases of the game, I mean, we just got to dominate.
And how many players made it to the league off of those teams you played on?
Ooh, it's a lot. Frank Walker's getting inducted right now into the Hall of Fame.
Harry
Harry Williams, Drayton Florence, Anthony Mitchell. I mean, it's a long list. So, I mean, those guys, I mean, like I say, and then I talk about that to rub off on the younger guys that's coming in because that's tradition. That's
right.
History. So for them to come in and see those guys have done it, they can do it as well. Number one thing is to graduate. It's education first.
Which all of them did. 715 victories in program history. Michael, I want to turn to you. A lot of people don't know you and I was catching up last night. I've known you since you was about, 8 years old?
Yes, sir. Crazy.
And,
great story.
So now you grew up in the Tuskegee community. Now you're playing at Tuskegee University. But more important than you playing at Tuskegee and you doing the right thing educationally and on the field is you've become a role model in that community. And a lot of the young kids look up to you and your achievements. What does that mean to you to be a role model, especially in the community that you grew up in?
Well, it means a whole lot. I remember back when I was a younger kid, I used to always go to the Frank Walker camp, and I looked up to him. So that's a big thing for me, being able to be a role model to younger kids. I talk to them all the time. I even pick some of them up, take them to the field, help them out any way I can. It's just all about giving back. I just want to be the person that they can always come to. I help them out, work out with them, do whatever I need to help them out.
Got a good one, Coach.
And I'm in it with this long line of great defensive backs there at Tuskegee University. Hopefully you'll be the next one to make it to the league. And same thing with you, my guy. We've had a lot of offensive linemen make it to the league, so hopefully you'll be the next one to make it also.
Well, he personalized that one.
Yeah, I know. He personalized
that. You would lose all your media credit.
Coach,
I got one more before you let him go.
Go ahead.
I know we're going to wrap it up. Talk a little bit about, in terms of new president coming in, happens to be an alum as well, so I imagine a lot of people are excited. Then you got Ruffin, the AD, that seems to be pushing in terms of getting you a lot more than maybe what you've had in the past. Talk about how that helps develop what you need to do in terms of getting Tuskegee, what you all certainly feel is back where it needs to be, but more importantly about pushing things forward.
Yes, President Mark Brown is. He's coming in. Like I said, he's a alum.
Okay.
And, it's good to know because he already been there and he knows the ins and outs of the university. So, I mean, everybody's excited. And then when you speak on AD Ruffin, like I said, he came in with a vision. New turf, new facilities, new jumbotron. Now we're getting lights and we're getting buses.
Under the lights, baby.
The athletic program, I mean, like I say, his vision is in fruition now. So everything is ready to roll, and I'm excited. Because we didn't have lights back then.
Yeah.
So,
that first game under the lights is going to be special.
We didn't have turf. So, I mean, for me, knowing that what I played in to know what we have now, I mean, it's amazing.
Coach,
thank you for sharing.
Tuskegee, one of the most fervent fan bases in all of HBCU ball.
Go to Grambling.
Any parting words for your fan base for this upcoming season?
You say that again now?
I said, any parting words for your fan base for this upcoming season?
That Grambling Tuskegee matchup.
I mean, we all about keeping our foot to the ground and just staying forward. I mean, staying steady and playing fast and stopping guys on defense.
No doubt about it. Appreciate you.
Fear the shed, y'all. Fear the shed.
The shed, baby. Good job, man. Great job.
Sure thing. Tuskegee Golden Tigers.
Appreciate you.
Let's see who we got coming in now.
Yep.
No doubt, no doubt. Savannah State Tigers coming in.
You got 10 minutes to get 2 in.
Yes, indeed. We'll get you in, Coach. Coach Aaron Kelton. Welcome in, Coach.
Great to be here.
No doubt. First and foremost, tell us who you brought here with you here at the SIAC Media Day.
So I have the privilege of bringing Deshaun Mitchell, who's a senior receiver from South Carolina. Joe Hampton, who is a junior running back from Augusta, Georgia. And Tony Roundtree, who is a redshirt junior defensive tackle, also from Augusta, Georgia.
No doubt. Well, Coach, let's start here. Like, we saw the predicted order finish, but what does it take to get Savannah State into the upper echelon, if you will, of the SIAC?
You know what? Our league is so up and down. I already consider that us to be in the upper echelon, okay? Because nobody's taking a break. Okay, there's no easy games on our schedule or on anybody's schedule. Part of our philosophy is win the state of Georgia. That means I have to beat Fort Valley, I have to beat Albany, I have to beat Clark, and I have to beat Morehouse.
Yeah.
Okay?
All right.
Because that's what
I like
we
it.
do.
Yeah.
That's our goal every year. Okay? Compete for a conference championship, be in the top 2. That's what you got to do. Okay? And so we can only beat who's on our schedule. And so we're going to play. We take it one at a time. But I think for us, we had a bit of a down year going 2-8, but we lost 5 games by less than a score, by a touchdown or less.
Mm-hmm.
So we're closer than we think we are. But everybody else is better too, so we have to get better.
Sure.
And I think for us, the philosophy is about finishing quarters, finishing, a half, finishing in the games, right? Finishing what you start. Okay, you start as a Savannah State student, finish. Walking across the stage is your finishing line.
There it is, yeah.
Right? So it's graduating with a degree so that you can contribute to society. And if you're good enough to play, keep playing, right? But we're not going to set that as our goal. We're going to just play the best we can and then go from there.
There it is.
Right. This is for the players. I wanted to ask you all, a lot of transition, but now it's time to take the next step under coach. Talk about what gets you excited about this upcoming season. We'll start with you and then we'll come down.
I say this upcoming season, I'm very excited for the first game, Southern, because that's going to show us what we made of, what we could do. It's a bigger comp, so we going to have to be locked in. And that starts with day one of practice, knowing what we got to do, knowing everybody's role, everybody's job and everything. Going to fall into place.
Game one?
I'll say with me, like coming in my freshman year and then going into my sophomore year, this past spring, I'm going into my junior year, it felt a lot different. So just training, like how we were feeling during spring practice, like the vibe was just different. Like we were working harder, more focused, a lot more strict on a lot of things. So just feeling that vibe before the season, because that's when everything starts. So feeling that vibe now is like, okay, it's going to be something coming up. So.
Sound like Tiger's going to be a problem.
Yes, indeed.
Me, I'm just ready to work. I'm ready to work with my brothers, come back in, go get Southern, show them that ain't no different. Even though it's D1, no matter who it is.
They put the pants on like you, huh?
We're ready to go. And yeah, we're ready. Knock some heads off.
Go ahead, Jen.
Mike, real quick. First of all, glad to see you all. A couple of questions. Coach, I know coming from the Northeast, you finally made the transition down here, and I hear the twang in your voice at this point. I hear it.
Now, got him right up.
What's the next progression for this squad? As far as I know, you had a down season, showed some potential in that first year. What's the next progression for this squad?
I mean, it's a lot of teams and programs, when they have a down year after doing okay, want to revamp everything, right? It's stay the course. The philosophy works, okay? But it's stay the course. And it's continuing to build our relationships that we've established in our program. From very few changes in our coaching staff. Very few kids go into the portal, right? So our product is actually working because we're staying the course and we're all consistent with it. Right? And then the other part is turning up our level of effort, our level of intensity, our level of just ability to work, okay? And then it's finishing plays, right? If we finish plays, if we're going about it the same way, be detail-oriented. We go into practice, working our tail off. We're in and out of practice in 2 hours and 15 minutes, and we know when we left the field, that was the best day. We gave everything we could that particular day. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay, and it's having fun.
That's it.
No doubt.
Let's go.
Right? Yeah.
It's
Let's
having
go.
fun. These guys gotta have fun. I gotta have fun. I gotta enjoy what I do every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and that makes it
I can
makes
feel
all
it.
the better.
No doubt.
feel
That
it.
makes
Well,
it all
coach,
the better.
Absolutely.
have fun, stay the course. I like that. I like that.
Let's go.
Good stuff.
I gotta ask
Look
Mr.
forward to the
Round,
season,
Mr.
man.
Roundtree, real quick.
Mr. Roundtree.
Mr. Roundtree, you know you've been here. You've done your thing. I gotta go back. Have you go back in the day for a second. T.W. Josie High School, correct? Who's your head coach?
Well, I had John Starr. Roundtree.
Yep, John Starr Jr. I know him well. I coached with him at Salem High School here, so I know your pedigree. Speaks of you well.
Yes, sir.
How has that transition? Because I know the success in high school and the transition wasn't what you wanted it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
being the difference in coming to Savannah State, how has that changed you and made you better?
Well, when Savannah State came and got me from there, knowing that we had the certain seasons that we had, because we had a losing program since I was there. And, you know, coming out there to get me, and he made me a better person as I was there because he lifted me up every game. Every game he lifted me up every time because, I mean, our defense came out and did what we had to do, but, you know, our offense on the side, we ain't really have it too much. But he lifted me up every game, and like far as Roundtree as well, they all lifted me up. Definitely after freshman came in, started every year. So I came in, worked every day. He made sure I was in the weight room every day. Definitely John Starr. He made sure I was in the weight room every day.
Absolutely.
Great
I
stuff.
appreciate it.
Great stuff. Appreciate you stopping by, Coach. Savannah
Appreciate
State
it,
Tigers.
man. Let's go. Good job, man. Appreciate you, man. Look forward to the season. Keep it up.
Good luck on the season.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. As the Allen Yellow Jackets are coming in. Coach Pearl, how you doing?
How you doing?
Welcome in.
All right.
All right, Coach. Coach Pearl. Good job. Pleasure.
How you doing? Well, first and foremost, let me start you off here. Who have you brought with you here to
Appreciate
Media
it.
Day?
Right. Bo Harrington, a senior running back. Sherrod Simmons, senior defensive back.
Sure thing. Let me start here. So, what has it been like for you in terms of coming into this Allen environment and sort of establishing what you want to do with this program?
It's been exciting. You know, you get a chance to implement a new system to the kids. So everybody's eager to learn. So they were locked in and really focused in the spring on learning our new system, whether it was offensively, defensively, or special teams. So that was the biggest thing. And also the big change in the weight room, too. We did some things a little bit different than the last staff, which is normal. So getting adjusted to the way that we wanted to do things was a part of the process, and I think everything went well during the spring.
No doubt.
I'm going to talk to the players coming out of the state of Texas. So we think we play a little football over there, but y'all out of Florida. Exactly. So I want to know a little bit about that, particularly with that face. Tell me a little bit about football in Florida and then transitioning to Allen in terms of the SIAC.
First. Football in Florida, I'm sure it's in Texas, is very competitive. You know, it's speed everywhere, so it's like you got to be really fast in my
I agree.
running back to break away, and you know what I'm saying. So when you transition to college, I don't want to say it's all about the speed of the game, but you kind of got a edge on it.
Okay.
Coming from other places, and so when you get to college, it was definitely an adjustment, but yeah, the speed of the game is almost close to the same, but college is a little faster. For sure.
Yeah, I say Texas football, and I up there with Florida. Yeah, it's catching.
Yeah,
up.
we try to work it.
It's catching up, but I feel like the speed of football in Florida prepared me for college football because at Allen, it's really a fast-paced, hard-nosed type of football that Coach Pearl brought in. So with that being said, basically what we do is try to implement what we did in high school and bring it to the college football field.
I like that. Appreciate that answer.
This question is for Bo. Now, over the last couple of years, you've been in a different kind of offense. Y'all like to throw that thing around. I heard Coach Pearl talk about you're gonna get plenty of opportunities this year. What yardage do you think you can get? Can you get over that 1,000-yard mark?
Do I think I can get over?
Yes.
I most definitely think I could get over it. I don't want to say I haven't really had an opportunity to get a chance to do that, but like you said, I was in a different type of offense. So I had 1,000 yards all purpose with 400 receiving yards.
There you go.
Which, you could do that. I could get 1,000 yards rushing in this type of offense with more carries. So, yeah, so that's what I think I'm more than capable of getting over the 1,000.
I would ask a follow-up. I know we gotta run, but yeah.
No, go ahead.
It's Ron. You might be the biggest DB. Like I see you coming in.
Yeah, when he said DB, sit down. I like.
Listen, hey, somebody hit in the weight room. Somebody in the weight room. What can the defense be this year to match the intensity? Because when you're talking about a coach coming in that's a defensive-minded person, what do you think you all can be this year that you haven't been in the past?
I feel like on the defensive side of the ball, we could be way better hard-nosed football that we can actually win the game on defense and not just win the game on offense. We could win games 3-0, 7-0. We're gonna have everything can't be a barn burner. So sometimes we gotta rely on the defense to win games. Sometimes we gotta rely on the offense to win games. I feel like it's the biggest change that's gonna happen this year.
No doubt. Well, Coach Pearl, I see they're starting to set up things here
Yes,
for
they are.
Hall of Fame. We'll let you go, but I appreciate you stopping by.
Appreciate you
Good
guys
luck
having
on the
us.
season.
Yes,
my
sir.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Look forward to the season. Keep
We're looking forward to it.
Sure thing. You are a big DB, man. Goodness.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you. Take care, man.
Yeah, Allen Yellow Jacket stopping by.
You can see if we can get our last one in, and we got everybody. We do that.
Sure thing.
Benedict's coming to the table. Champions of the conference.
We got Benedict coming in?
Yeah, last group.
Coach Dickerson.
Yes, how you doing?
Welcome in.
Hey, Coach, welcome.
Wonderful.
So they say the best for the last.
They say the best last here. The champs are here. Here, pick up this microphone here.
Yes, sir.
So let me start here with who did you bring with you here to Media Day?
All right, so I have Nolan Jones, defensive back. Very first-class young man, and that's what I want to talk about off the field. Very humble. One of the big things that I'm impressed with him is that he's working with young children right now, and so a lot of other people want to go and enjoy their summer and do different things and everything else, and he's taking the time to teach them how to be themselves. And so, we want to talk about football, but this is what it's really about. This is the culture that I'm trying to bring in. And so, somebody that I'm grateful to have on my team as a man, Nolan Jones over here. My other side is just the same, Akeem Durant. Akeem plays running back. Wasn't a starter, still battling for the job, but he's very humble. Just puts the hard hat on, and he comes to work every day. But let me explain about him. A black man dealing with his family, and that's what's so important to him. He went on a vacation with his brothers. Again, could have been hanging in the streets, doing things with everybody else, but he wanted to spend quality family time because he knows how important that is and how we're losing that in our society. And so when you look at these two young men, we're not going to talk football, we're going to talk about first-class real men that 10, 25 years from now are going to be successful.
No doubt.
Because they appreciate the little things.
Sure thing. Let me talk a little bit about the football aspect.
Okay.
Championship program.
Yes, sir.
And you're coming into a pedigree program now. What are some things that you're trying to improve upon, change? What direction are you trying to take this Benedict program?
Well, they were going in the right direction. They may have been on a train, we're on a bus, and that's the good thing is, we're all going the right way. And that's the biggest thing is that the previous staff, the previous team did a great job. And now it's a new era. It's a new day. And it's across college football. And so that's what I'm really excited about. The transfer portal, if you really go back and look, almost every team is new.
It's different.
Sure.
And so that's the one thing is that the reason why I brought these young men in the culture, into that. But Dr. Artis, the alumni, Coach Washington has done a great job. the ones that aren't around but had that vision, and that is, our statement. That is who we are. When you walk into our building, we talk about vision. And as I mentioned before, where there is no vision, the people will perish.
Sure.
And so our vision is to be successful. And so the good thing about it is that the ingredients that were already in there, you understand what I'm saying? I like hot sauce in my gumbo, but the gumbo was already made.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Great analogy.
I like a little hot sauce too, so I'm with you.
Exactly.
Some people like eggs in their gumbo. Not everybody does.
That's
but
true.
the gumbo was already made. And so now we just got to put our little flavor into it.
Let's go.
Off the field, on the field, and keep moving in the right direction.
Talk a little bit about the flavor. Let me transition to the players. I'm going to start with you in terms, and then I'm going to go over to you and just talking about where's your mind in terms of continuing to build and your expectations to stay at the top of the conference. What does that look like?
I mean, our coach, I said this earlier in another interview, but our coach, he sent a quote by Kirby Smart saying it takes what it takes. And I feel like no matter what team you're on, no matter who you play for, no matter what position you play, no matter if you're 1 or 2 or 3, it's going to take hard work. It's going to take early mornings and long nights and stuff you don't want to do. You're going to have to do it. And, I just feel like we're on the right track. We have a lot of new faces, but, at the end of the day, you have to buy into what your coaches and what the players around you are doing,
Absolutely.
what you're saying.
Keep up the great work. Your thoughts?
Can you repeat the question?
I'm just saying, what are your thoughts in terms of where the program was and heading in this into this new season? What are your expectations?
I have high expectations for the team. I know that our coaches did a great job of recruiting and bringing in new guys that can fill in positions that we need. My running back coach always says, "Bring your hard hat." So every day we're gonna have to come to work. It's gonna be hot. There's gonna be days where we don't want to be there, but you still gotta have your hard hat on to come to work.
Sure.
Look like you ready mentally.
I know. Go ahead, Jack.
Let me ask this question real quick. Being in that running back position, you've had Noah Isaiah Scotland, you've had DeAndre Duhart stepping into that role. Can you handle the mail?
I'm just gonna be who I'm gonna be. At the end of the day, I can't be nobody but myself.
That's right.
Great way to put a bubble on it right there.
I did want to say, I know you're dean in the School of Business.
Yes.
School of Education, Dr. Akila Carter-Franzique. Make sure you tell her I said
I
hello.
will definitely do that.
No doubt.
Thank you very much.
Keep up the great work.
Thank you so much.
Coach Jackson, good luck on the season.
Thank you
Appreciate you
very
stopping by.
Yes.
Thank you.
All
right.
And with the champions, that might bring us to an end here, Doc.
I think it is. We'll have a couple of words as they closing up and getting us going and everything.
Yeah.
These young men did a great job in terms of closing out things. And this year we really did a good job with everybody working with us and the coaches. We got everybody. We got everybody, which I was excited about. Obviously, we talked about the predicted order of finish. Let's go. Any final thoughts? We didn't get your chance to talk about that in terms of yesterday as things got going, as you were flying in.
Yeah.
They provided a predicted order of finish and wanted to kind of get your thoughts where you are. I put mine out there as you pulling that up in terms of the predicted order of finish. I'll tell you what I put down there yesterday as I pull it up myself. Drew, we had a great job laughing and moving through the process in terms of what that looked like. So I said this: 13 Morehouse, Allen 12, 11 is Savannah State, 10 is Kentucky State, 9 Central State 8, Edward Water 7, Benedict 6, Fort Valley State 5, Clark Atlanta. I jumped up.
Oh my!
I told you. I actually said it last night. If anybody outside of that I feel is gonna get it done, I got surprisingly Clark Atlanta. And I'm even more impressed after today. Tuskegee 3, Miles 2, and Albany State. Do you agree with my lineup versus what you saw was the actual predicted order?
Yeah, I think, and I talked about it, the Clark being the sort of the buzz team. I see you got them up near the Blue Bloods, so I'm in agreement with that. I think even after talking with Clark and just have quarterback, have a lot. And they have one of the best in the country.
I like that. Have quarterback, have a lot.
Well, yeah.
That's a
lot of expectations, too.
Absolutely. I told somebody earlier in the week that the Fountain City Classic could be a repeat in the SIAC championship.
Okay.
I think those two teams, Albany State and Fort Valley, have the potential to win it all. But there's so much parity in this conference that you literally have 7 teams that can win this thing, especially if they get the quarterback position solidified. So I think this conference will have a lot to be excited about. But, you know, the predicted order of finish, I do agree Clark can move up because when you got David Wright as the signal caller, everything else fall into place. I think you'll be fine.
Man, that's half the conference, more than half. And I'm coming to you, but I want to follow up on this one. I had Edgewater 7, Benedict 6, Fort Valley 5, Clark Atlanta 4, Tuskegee 3, Miles 2, Albany State 1. Are all those the 7 that you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
7. It might be 10 teams who would not surprise me if they are in contention on that last weekend for a spot in the
that
championship.
That is AD
game.
Drew chaos if I ever heard it.
Yeah, you know we love chaos.
And you know I say because first of all, I do not see anybody in this conference going undefeated this year, such as Benedict has done.
That's a good point.
I'd have to agree with that. In the last 2 years, and with the fact that
you see anybody with just 1 loss.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
I see going into that last weekend, you will have multiple 1-loss teams.
Okay.
Where their second loss, and then
it's dropping somebody. Yeah.
Somebody's gonna drop out, and then there's gonna be some nerds that have to come in and figure this stuff out. Because let's be real, Tuskegee does not play Albany State, Fort Valley, or Benedict.
Yeah, I saw the strength of schedule graphic you guys had up. Yeah.
Miles does not play Benedict, and so long story short, some of the ones that I think are going to be in contention do not have a head-to-head matchup. That's usually that first tiebreaker.
Okay.
Which means you're going to have to really have those tiebreakers spelled out and figured out, because there may be 5, 6, 7, 8 teams where there may be some combination of this person win and this person lose by X amount. And,
calculator season.
Like I said,
good point.
I think the nerds, because this conference has that much parity. There's that much uncertainty with the coaching change in 2 cities. You had 2 coaches in Atlanta, 2 coaches in Columbia changing. You've got multiple quarterbacks out here, but you got the best quarterback in the conference who's going to have a chip on his shoulder because he was not chosen as offensive player of the
preseason offensive player of the year
after he won it last season.
At the end of the year. Yeah.
Wow. Does moving 3 hours east make that much? 3 hours west make that much of a difference? Am I on board?
Yeah.
So then you've got the best, probably who I think the second best quarterback in the conference, Kelvin Durham, who wasn't on nobody's list.
Yeah.
Good point.
So,
you got to close it out.
Yeah, got to close it out. We'll get into more conversation tomorrow.
We got a lot of time to do that.
Dr. Cavil's inside the HBCU
you
Sports
gonna
Lab.
do the show tomorrow?
Make sure I have power in Houston.
We'll check on it. If we have power, we might do it. I'll be in the air. I'll be in Las Vegas. I might be trying to do it from there to see if we can make it work. I'll be calling these folks. AD Drew, we'll see what he looks like. But that'll do it for us in terms of game time. I want to give a special shout out to Roy, powered by Black College Sports Network. Jamie, always good to have you on the team, bring you in. Your expertise in terms of calling the games and some of your questions, we're really appreciative of really getting into some of the inside to make sure our viewers that may not keep up with the SIC as much but are so hungry for football and just supporters of HBCU, they joined us today. So that was beautiful. Always good to have AD, our D2 expert, that make sure when we doing our show, we have our backdrop to make sure we can pull him in to do that. Obviously, we'll see the updates from the CIAA, and we don't know if we won't be live there, but following week, look for us. We'll be in Birmingham for the SWAC. The following, after I get back literally from Bahamas, that's Sunday, I'm going up to Norfolk to give you some updates on the MEAC. So you'll have that information coming, and we'll see if we can spread it around to make sure we can get some of those non-conferences in terms of Hampton, North Carolina, A&T. Jamie's going to get mad at us. We don't make sure the Aggies get any talk of love. And then we're going Tennessee State. Yeah, well, he said right now he might not want to talk about the Aggies. We get it.
We'll see.
With that being said.
Great to be back around all the HBCU media. Of course, there'll be more media next week, but it's great to get back around some familiar faces again today.
Well, you know where to catch us. We're going to let it get off on that as we normally end the show. Charles?
Looking forward to next week. I think next week will be fun. So, but this is a great atmosphere here today.
Jamie?
Oh, just in general. Looking forward to what's going on this year, and looking forward to just being in the building.
Same thing. Final thought?
I've said what I've got to say, so we can end it, or
we will. Course.
Lecture.
Dismissed.